You got the MJ Morning Show. It's Q105. Roxanne, I'd like to recommend. I'd like to recognize. So Fester was here about 5 minutes ago, and now he's not. Is he effing with me? Is he screwing? Is Fester screwing?
So, maybe he had to use a restroom. Maybe he had an emergency.
Well, no. Listen, I had asked you guys, and Roxanne and Fester really have been the biggest culprits here. So now Fester's walking in. Are you screwing with me? No. You were here 5 or 6 minutes ago, and now you're walking in right now.
Completely lost track of time.
Oh, doing what?
Well,
oh my God, that is the freaking most hideous shirt I have ever seen you wear.
All right, so I found
that is. Oh my! I got to take a picture of this right now. Where's my phone?
This is one of the finest Hawaiian shirts I've ever seen.
Oh my God!
I couldn't wait to be the owner of it.
It's a giant
dude.
shirt.
You know they say that black is supposed to make you look thinner.
Not in this case.
Not. Oh my God!
Yeah, I know, right?
The floral, dude. You look like a tent at Airfest.
This is like a funeral Hawaiian shirt or a formal occasion Hawaiian shirt.
Like a Hawaiian died.
Yeah, like a Hawaiian died.
Famous surfer.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like a display at Home and Garden or like a Home Depot display.
I love it
in the garden area.
Dude, I have got to take a picture of this.
You can. I saw this shirt. I'm like, yes.
Hold on, where did you get this?
At like the Fat Barn or something. Like
there's no place called Fat Barn.
In the fat guy circle, there is a store that's known for really, really large people clothing.
There's not a store called Fat Barn.
No, but that's what we affectionately call DXL.
What is DXL?
See, you wouldn't know because you're like a medium. But
I'm a slarge. Well, what is a DXL?
DXL is a store. It used to be called like Reps Big and Tall, and then it was called Casual Male, and now it's called DXL. And they have like up to like size 40X. It's like you can be like disgustingly fat.
That's like a tarp for your roof.
Yeah,
it's like the whale.
You've never
where
been
he
to
shopped.
Hey, has anyone seen The Whale yet?
No.
No.
Where am I going to watch it?
I'm telling you right now, that thing was, I would say, tremendous, but I'm not making fun of anything. But Brendan Fraser, he deserved winning the Oscar. That The Whale was incredible.
Do they show him eating like a complete pig in that movie?
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
I saw a clip of him pouring a ranch on pizza. That's all I saw.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, who doesn't
Like
do
he's
that?
just stuffing his face in the fridge.
Oh my
with
God!
pizza.
Don't mess with pizza, folks. Ranch on pizza.
Oh, he looked like he loved it.
You know what's the best ranch dressing for pizza? Jets Pizza. Have you ever had Jets Pizza?
I have not had Jets Pizza.
It's like Detroit style pizza.
I have not.
Their ranch is on point.
All I know is when I watch television and I see commercials for the national pizza chains.
Oh, so good.
No, it is not good. When I see the commercials for the national pizza chains, I get angry. I'm repulsed. I'm horrified at the ways that they screw up pizza.
Oh, God.
I mean, seriously.
I'm pretty sure they're doing it all right. There's 1,000 of their stores, whatever they are.
Maybe 1 million.
Because this country has been dumbed down ridiculously on what good pizza is.
Yes.
This country, I'm telling you,
Have you
has
had Godfather's pizza? It's really good.
Listen, I'm just not a fan of the chains per se. You know, as like Frank Pepe Pizza, as they expand out of Connecticut, I'm a fan because they really are doing a good job in replicating the New Haven, Wooster Street quality in their branch locations. Anyway, listen, you guys have all distracted
Do they
me.
have stuffed crust, though? That's my
Yeah,
question.
stop it with stuffed crust.
That's my
No, but
barometer.
they do put clams on their pizza,
Okay,
right?
forget that.
You can get a white clam
Yeah,
pizza.
white clam pizza.
That is a classic, and it is fantastic. All right, listen, you guys all distracted me. So first of all, Roxanne, I want to recognize that you were here early. You were in here before the show open even started. Thank you so much.
And I want to recognize that I do well with positive reinforcement, not negative. So
Yes.
that is a good move by you.
Were you angry with me yesterday?
No, I wasn't angry with you, but I did see a comment somewhere, like somewhere on Facebook that was
Yep.
like, And I remember this too, because I used to listen to you guys' show
Mhm.
that you used to be late once a week calling in the first segment from your cell phone.
That is not true.
MJ
That
was
wasn't
never
It was
late.
Yeah.
not. That is ridiculous.
Unfortunately, that's not true.
That might be the outlier.
Whoever said that is absolutely full of crap. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Give me their address. I'll set a fire in their backyard. That is ridiculous.
I don't think we'll do that.
No, we won't do that.
No, we're joking.
We-
That was-
so
that was-
I want to recognize
Thank
Roxanne.
you.
Roxanne, thank you so much. You were here early this morning. And Fester, you were here the earliest.
Incredibly.
You were here in the studio at 5:55, like 5 minutes before the show opened. And then we opened the show, and then you're nowhere to be found.
I lost track of time. I had
He
listen,
got lost in his shirt.
here's what happened. I walked over to the sales department where my love relationship with Wacky Jackie is reinforced by the fact that she restocks her candy bowl before she leaves the night before. So I always have first picks of it. So I was going through her entire candy bowl. I laid it all out. I took all the the finer pieces of chocolate, like the Snickers and the Twix bars, and I packed everything back in to make it look like I wasn't there. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, the show's starting. And I could hear the speaker is like very low, but I can hear it in the background.
Yeah.
I can hear the intro music. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh crap, I'm never gonna make it on time. Oh well. And then I strolled in.
Did you see the news that broke yesterday on this possible maniac that was going into the Mons Venus?
Yes.
Holy frig-a-moly. All right, we got to talk about this for the early crowd. We'll do it next. But police think that we might have been looking at a mass shooting inside the Mons Venus, world-famous Dale Mabry strip club on Sunday night. This is unbelievable. This is incredible. And the bouncer saw that something was wrong. Well, because it was a giant guy with a devil mask on.
Yeah, what's
That's
up with that?
It was
Clue.
this, and then he was armed. He had a gun, and he was trying to get inside the Mons Venus. This is a crazy story. Folks, if you don't know what almost happened at the Mons Venus, we'll tell you next. This is crazy. Security guards were alert. They took the guy down. There's one thing that I saw, and luckily this found out. This thing ended in a positive way without anyone getting shot. But there's one observation that I made, and I'll point something out. But listen, we have some clear heroics that occurred. We could have been the subject of national news at the famous Mons Venus strip club just a few nights ago. All right, hold on for the early crowd. If you don't know what happened, we'll tell you next. As we're just getting rolling here, it's the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Back in minutes. Pat has the early look at traffic at 6:08 here on the MJ Morning Show.
Here we go.
Morning Show, Q105, 619. The Mons Venus story is crazy. Also, I think we're going to open up a few mystery merch packages in just a matter of moments as well. So what was this guy's intent? This is making big news yesterday, and it kind of came out of nowhere. So this story happened on Sunday night, and we're just hearing about this yesterday on Tuesday. This is crazy. According to TPD, the Mons Venus, the famous, legendary listen, when you say you're from Tampa, people say two things. When I'm traveling and I get into a conversation somewhere, there are two things that come up when I say, yeah, I'm from Tampa. And they're like, oh, yeah. It's either, hold on a minute. Roxanne, you're raising your hand. Like,
okay.
Right? What do you think?
Is it obviously it's Mons Venus?
Yep.
And Buccaneers?
No.
Oh.
No, it is
not. You
not.
don't have your sports friends aren't bringing that up to you?
No.
No.
When you say you're from Tampa, people say two things. In fact, it just happened to us. Where the heck were we? We were in the airport. Which airport were we in? We were at LaGuardia. And we're in the American Express lounge at LaGuardia waiting for our flight. We had a couple hours to kill. And, the guy said, hey, where you from? We're from Tampa. So, oh, yeah, Burns Steakhouse. I was there a couple of times. Man, I love that place. Yeah, when you say you're from Tampa, two things come up. Burns Steakhouse and the Mons Venus, like clockwork. So here's what happened.
It's fun to go to Burns and then go to Mons after.
Yeah, it's really a lot of meat for one night.
So instead of going to the dessert room, you get your dessert over at Mons Venus. Is that it?
That's a good night out.
Well, Tampa police think that the security guards in front of Mons Venus might have stopped a mass shooting on Sunday night. Also, I want to know why this took so long to propagate. Why did it take from Sunday night until yesterday, until Tuesday? Why did it take so long for the story to come out?
So this was Sunday morning, MJ. So it's an additional almost 24 hours. It happened at 1:15 early Sunday
morning.
So you say Sunday night. It was Sunday. It was Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Because the original story from Channel 8, when I saw the story from Channel 8, I'm looking at the printout, so they must have updated their story. Because I'm looking at the Channel 8 story. It said, police said fast-acting security guards at the well-known Mons Venus Adult Entertainment Club in Tampa very likely stopped a mass shooting on Sunday night. So they should have said early Sunday morning, right?
I don't know. When did your story post? I don't know.
Yeah, this story was like from, 7, 8 o'clock last night. So they've updated this story. Is what it looks like. Now, the updated story says security guards at Mons Venus. They've changed the opening line because they've added early Sunday morning. That's an update in their story. Yeah, this is all new. Tampa police said at about 1:15 a.m., Michael Rudman, 44, tried to force his way into the club while armed with a handgun and a devil mask, and he also had the words "kill" and "Dark One" written on his arms. Let me tell you this guy was up to no good. This was potentially a nightmare. Yeah, you have an updated story here, Fester. They've clarified when it actually happened.
Did you see the video?
Yes, of course I saw the video. The video is insane. The security camera footage from outside of the Mons Venus, they show this huge guy. This guy, Fester, he looks like he's your size.
I'd say he's a big guy. Yeah, he's a big guy.
This guy's like 330 pounds or something, and it shows him trying to go to the front door and walk in, and they stop him. He's wearing is that a red vest? I think he's wearing a red vest, and then he's got a red devil mask on his face. And then the security guard, this dude by the name of Manny Resto has been a security guard for 30 years. He also claims that he's an MMA fighter and a professional wrestler. And he notices this guy in a devil mask. I've got audio of this guy from the TPD presser yesterday. But that even raises the question, if it happened at 1 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, so Saturday night into Sunday morning, that's even longer. Because the original story from Channel 8, which they had wrong, they said that it happened Sunday night. No, it happened early Sunday morning. So it's even longer that it took for this story to make the news because it just broke yesterday. That is just bizarre that it took so long. So this Manny Resto, the security guard outside of the Mons Venus, he says, man, what the hell's going on here? Something's not right. This guy's wearing a red devil mask. And then he noticed the gun. Notice this guy had a handgun, and he said, I got to stop this dude. Resto grabs the gun. They fight, but not before the guy with the red devil mask disarmed him again. So this Manny dude grabs the gun, but then the guy in the red devil mask moves toward him and disarms him, takes the gun back.
I mean, this guy's devil guy's a big guy.
Then the gun ends up on the ground, and then two other Mons Venus security guards jump on the guy, and they're able to restrain him on the ground. Now, here are some audio bites. These are some audio clips from the presser that they had at TPD yesterday talking about the story. So this is the security guard, Manny Resto.
I decided that he was not going to enter the club and hurt anybody.
Then he says,
and I noticed the devil mask, and I was like, okay, it's not Halloween. Maybe it's some type of trick or a gag, you know.
Man, this is freaky. You know, when something like this unfolds this quickly, you got to be fast on your feet. You can't take time to process. Wait a second, what is this guy doing? You have to immediately be able to realize that something is very wrong here and to try to neutralize the situation. And he did.
He acted with his instincts.
The one scary part is when you watch the video, you can see that the security guard grabbed the gun, but then the guy charges and gets the gun back. Fester's looking at the video right now.
The whole thing's pretty quick.
See, you see what happens here?
Now the gun's on the ground.
Yeah.
The gun's on the ground. Manny gets behind the devil guy, picks up the gun.
All right, watch this. Picks up the gun. The guy charges back at him, and then grabs the gun back.
Yeah, he's got it pointed at him, and the guy's charging him with him holding it towards him.
So the guy charges to get the gun back. All right, this is just, it's bizarre.
Man, he was almost in there.
He was almost inside the club. So this guy clearly had bad intentions. Was he going to walk in and start shooting inside the Mons Venus?
Obviously, yeah.
I mean, he had a flashlight. He was armed.
Oh, that's right. The guy in the red devil mask, the big fat guy in the devil, he also had a flashlight. He had the gun. So the flashlight probably so he could see inside the dark strip club.
Yeah.
All right, here's more of Manny Resto, the security guard.
I wasn't going to let this happen. I was not going to let him win. He was not going to hurt nobody.
So he's in front of the TPD lectern inside like the little press room downtown at Tampa Police Department.
A lot of things are fuzzy because I got hit in the head quite a few times by the gun, and he also had a flashlight as well in the other hand.
Wow. He continued.
I went for the gun. I was concentrating on the gun.
That's from a Fox 13 report.
I saw him raise his hand, and he had a gun.
Oh my God, he's lucky he didn't get shot.
Yeah.
This is nuts. Then this is another security guard. This is one of the secondary guys that jumped on the scene after the first guard was able to initially interfere.
He had over 500 pounds on him, and he was still moving.
So they had three guys were on him, and the guy was still trying to squirm out of the thing. That was another guard, Danny Baham. And then here is the Tampa interim police chief. This is interim police chief Lee Burkhaw. And this is what he said at the presser yesterday.
First thing that came to my mind is what happened in Orlando at Pulse. And having these two here to take that heroic action, could they have prevented something like that? I definitely think so. And the officers at the scene actually said that he was so incoherent that he couldn't speak.
And he's referring to what happened at that Pulse nightclub in Orlando where the maniac went in there and, shot up the place.
Who did he say was incoherent? The devil guy?
Yeah,
Yes, the devil guy.
The devil dude devil dude was incoherent.
What is going on with that guy?
In the report, it says he has that the devil guy has a history of domestic violence and mental health issues.
Yeah. And I also read that he was previously Baker acted. But for him, hold on, we got a caller. Scott in Tampa is phoning in. He says he's got a little more insight on things. Scott, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Go ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, so how do you have more insight?
I work across the street. I was actually across the street when it all went happened.
Hold on, do you work at 2001?
I'd rather not say.
Okay, all right, so you're working across the street. All right, Scott, tell us what you know.
Everything goes down. The altercation happens out front. You hear a couple shots. There was definitely shots fired. I assume that everyone was okay. You'll hear it more from the police report, I assume. But they told us that it's a tactic now where people are using cell phone lights or flashlights to block the security cameras as they're walking into the entrance.
You know,
Not to see in the
Look, hold on a minute. So he is wow, as Fester is playing the surveillance video from outside of Mons, he's holding the flashlight backward as he's walking and shining the flashlight into the security camera.
So he's coherent enough to do that.
Wow, you are correct. All right, go ahead, Scott.
That's pretty much all the other info I got. That's all they would release to us. You know, they told us just to keep on the lookout for people with walking in, with flashlights faced toward the rear, toward cameras, things of that nature.
This is crazy. Hey,
yes, it absolutely is.
Scott, are you just getting off work?
Maybe.
Oh, man. It's
a good one.
Hey,
All
Scott,
right.
thanks for listening and thanks for phoning in.
Oh, man.
Wow. I never even would have thought that you're using the flashlight for that reason.
But no, when you see the devil guy walk up to the door, he blinds out the camera for a couple of seconds.
He does.
That's very premeditated.
Man, this is just insane. All right, we'll get into this in more detail later on. Maybe as the show progresses, when we talk about this in an hour or two, again, maybe we'll get even more phone calls. But how about that? How about Scott calling in? And my guess is that he works also in the security business at maybe another famous strip club on Dale Mabry, maybe right across the street. But
he said he heard gunshots, though.
Well, there was a gunshot.
Yeah,
the
there
gun went
was.
off.
Oh,
It
okay.
went into the door.
Hit the door.
So he must have been outside at, listen, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he must have been outside at 2001.
Probably security guard.
Exactly, across the street. And clearly, if the gunshots go off at the Mons Venus across the street, you're going to hear it.
Yeah.
Unfreaking believable, folks. All right, what do you say we get to early morons in the news next? And we also have to open up a couple of mystery merch packages. We'll see how timing works, whether it's the next segment or we do it just after. It is a busy Wednesday. Don't move. We're back in minutes on the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. Now, love it. Time. Have in there. It has like the Lay's. It's got the Doritos.
Yeah.
Does it have the Cheetos? Sometimes the Ruffles have ridges, right?
Different kinds of the same potato chip. The thin cut.
No, they have just a variety of
Right.
stuff. Yeah, it's not all potato chips. You get that big box like at Costco.
We get those for the kids.
Yeah, Is that part of the big food groups at your house?
Yeah, it's the big food groups.
When you make
do you even look at my IG? Why don't you go look at my IG story sometime and see what I feed my children?
MJ, you have to
because you
understand-
always hone in on the if I mention I give them chips every so often, but if I actually cook healthy food for my family, thank you very much.
Well, don't get testy over there. I'm sorry. Fester brought up the Classic Mix 18-bag box of Frito-Lay products. This is from the Target website.
Right, you can have it
So,
shipped straight to your house. It can be there by the end of the show.
Classic Lay's. It has the Cool Ranch Doritos. It has the Classic Doritos. It has the Cheetos. It has the Fritos. And it has the Ruffles. I pretty much nailed the contents of this box.
They're not in the old plastic. Remember, they used to be in the plastic covered box.
Okay, so that's like the larger one that you get like at the discount clubs or something. Like if you went to Sam's Club, they used to have them. There were like 50 bags.
Well, let me get into the variety pack of morons in the news. Man, here we go. We've got another local story here, and it's spring break related. This is nuts. A grown man, apparently here on spring break, used a butter knife to just maul the hell out of a car in a parking lot.
Oh, no.
What the? You got to hear this. After using a butter knife to cause extensive paint damage to a brand new 2023 Nissan, a guy from Missouri vacationing right here in the Tampa Bay area, he admitted to his criminal mischief, and he described this felonious act as just a spring break mistake. This dude is not 18. This dude is not 21, down here from Elon College or something. No.
So why was it a spring break mistake? He was just like in the spring break drunken spirit or something?
He's 52 years old.
What?
He's a real estate executive. And he's sharing a St. Petersburg hotel room with 8 friends. What the hell is
What a loser.
What is going? Wait a minute. The guy's a real estate executive from Missouri. He's in the Tampa Bay area sharing a hotel. 52-year-old guys don't share hotel rooms with 8 guys. That's like a whole bunch of college friends that are down from wherever on spring break.
Dude, that's awkward.
This is bizarre.
What, did he miss that portion of his life?
I don't
reliving
know.
it now at 52?
That's a very good observation. Yeah, really.
Or he's been that group of guys has been doing it that way since they were 18.
All right, spring break 35th edition.
You know what? We didn't get enough mischief in, but we were 19 and 20 when we were at Penn State. We're coming on down.
You guys remember back in 1988 when we came down here for the first time? Boy, it sure has changed.
Yeah, you know what? We didn't quite get our dibs in when we were students at Ithaca College. No.
We're really going to pick up the girls now.
According to police, the vehicle's owners, a married couple, spotted the guy standing near their car. This was late last week, and the guy was making motions with his hand near the driver's side. So the husband and wife, they confront the guy, and it's in a local establishment parking lot. I'll get to that here in a second. So they confront the guy. What are you doing to our car? And then the guy laughs and then sprints down the street.
Kappa Alpha.
52-year-old real estate executive from Missouri in town sharing a hotel room with 8 friends. He has a butter knife, and he's frigging up the paint job on the couple's brand new 2023 Nissan.
Something's going on in that hotel room.
The couple looks at their car. The entire side of the vehicle has been marred and scratched, extensive paint damage, according to the police report here. Lying next to the car on the ground was a silver butter knife that was used to damage the vehicle. Where did this all happen?
Yeah, where were they?
Parked right outside of the Toasted Monkey restaurant.
There you go. Now we know we got the knife.
I have never been to the Toasted Monkey. Has anyone in the room been to the Toasted Monkey?
I haven't, but I kind of want to go, although I don't want to bring my car.
Can you
Sounds delicious.
look up the Toasted Monkey and tell me where the Toasted Monkey is?
Toasted Monkeys in St. Pete Beach.
Okay.
Looks like a kind of a restaurant, bar, nightclub.
They are on 75th Avenue, St. Pete Beach, Florida.
Yeah, in the Corey Avenue Shopping District.
Oh, the well-known Corey Avenue Shopping District.
I haven't been.
I don't know if I've been to the Corey Avenue Shopping
Do
District.
they serve Toasted
It's
Monkey?
essentially downtown St. Pete Beach.
But is this just nuts? The car in the Toasted Monkey parking lot had damage in excess of $1,000, according to the police report. The review of the security camera footage showed a crystal clear image of the suspect. Cops determined that the vandal had even put his phone number down on the Toasted Monkey's waiting list. Because they must have had to wait to get in.
Yeah.
He puts his phone number down on the wait list. So after calling the number, cops met up with this guy, Clifford Craig Edwards, who then admitted to the crime after he was Mirandized. So they gave him the, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So after he cops to screwing up their car with the butter knife, he told the police in Pinellas, yeah, it was just a spring break mistake.
Yep.
You're an old man, sir.
He was arrested on a felony criminal mischief charge. He was released from the Pinellas County Jail on Friday morning after his wife posted a $2,000 bond.
His wife.
He's from Springfield, Missouri. He's a licensed real estate salesperson. He's got a LinkedIn page, and it lists him as a development director of Bryan Properties, a firm in Springfield, Missouri,
Yeah, sounds like
that builds and manages residential developments.
His defense is going to be kids do the darndest things.
He's 52.
I know that, but he's acting like.
And it's a spring break mistake.
Yeah.
What are we missing here? This is like, it's like we're missing pieces to the story. What the hell happened in the Toasted Monkey parking lot? Was this guy toasted already?
Yeah, I haven't been to the Toasted Monkey. I want to go. It looks like a really nice place.
Where did he get the butter knife? Because it doesn't sound like he was in the Toasted Monkey yet. He was on the Toasted Monkey waiting, or you know what?
You can get a butter knife. You walk into any restaurant. You walk to the restroom. You can take one off a table.
Or maybe I just don't have it right. Maybe he was on the waiting list, waited, then got seated, then ate, pocketed the butter. We ought to get him on theft of the butter knife from the Toasted Monkey as well.
Hey guys, see this butter knife? It's coming with me.
What's with his wife? Like letting him, sure, go to St. Pete with 8 of your friends in their 50s?
And what I don't know, the wife posted his $2,000 bond to get him out of the Pinellas County Jail, but was she in town? Or did she post the bond from all the way out in Springfield, Missouri?
Dude's trip. No chicks allowed.
We're going to hit St. Pete Beach spring break. We're 52, but we're going to mingle with the 18-year-old college chicks.
I'm sure
We're going to do some Borgs.
All the ladies were all flocking.
Didn't you just do that, MJ?
What?
Borgs?
I didn't do Borgs.
Oh, you were invited to.
When we went to visit Chloe
What the hell is that?
in Scott.
What's a
Froggy,
Borg?
hold on. We talked about this.
It might have been the Monday that Froggy was out.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't here that one Monday. What's a Borg?
Froggy, the Borg thing is this new, college kid deal, and I'm sure some high school kids are doing it as well. They take a 1-gallon plastic milk jug, and they fill it with alcohol, like half alcohol, and then half like Gatorade and other crap, and they name it. So they take a magic marker and they name their Borg. And what is Borg? I forgot. What does Borg stand for again?
Blackout
Raging
gallon.
Gallons. Blackout raging gallons. Borg.
I've always heard Gatorade mixed with alcohol makes you get drunker faster for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, because of the
Electrolytes.
electrolytes and hydration
Yeah,
effects.
They put the electrolytes in there, and that's the Borg. So when we visited Chloe, we flew over to Scotland, and we visited Chloe because she's doing her junior year at St. Andrews, and she's like, hey, my friends all want you to come out and do some Borgs with us. I'm like, what? And then I said to her, Chloe, I just read a story that like there were 28 ambulances that were sent to the University of Massachusetts Amherst because the kids were blackout drunk and collapsed on the ground, and they had to send 28 ambulances to like a party up in Massachusetts because they borged and they got just smashed and the kids had to be hospitalized. I'm like, I'm not doing Borgs. And so I'm like, Chloe, don't you do Borgs?
Yeah.
Don't drink a gallon of alcohol and gate. What are you, nuts?
What's going on?
Anyway, we ought to try to get this guy on the show. Do you think that this spring break mistake dude, you think he'll come on the show?
Yeah. How awesome would that be? I went to Florida, got arrested, got on
a
radio show.
Yeah, this is totally his thing. He'll be happy to be on.
Now, this is just pure insanity. All right, I got a coleslaw story when we get back.
Love coleslaw.
Coleslaw is my favorite side.
All right, if this is not a hook, morons in the news and coleslaw. If that doesn't keep you listening, I don't know what the hell will. But that's next and a whole lot more here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Now... Q105. All right, 7:03 at the MJ Morning Show. And if you were listening about an hour ago when we first opened up the program, I mentioned that I witnessed maybe the most hideous Fester shirt that I've witnessed in a very long time. And I did snap a pic, and it is up on my Instagram. If you would like to see, where did you get this thing you said? And when did you get it?
I got it a while ago.
But this is the first time I've seen you wear this.
First time. I still have the tag on it.
Hold on, the tag is still in it?
I still have the tag on it.
Wait, well, hold on, Roxanne, can you?
there is.
Hold on, go back there. Look,
Yeah.
go behind Fester.
It's DXL.
DXL is like the fat guy store.
Big and tall.
You have the tag with that little plastic attachment
Yes.
stuck into the label?
Yep.
It's dangling?
Yeah, it's still on.
Hold on.
Here, look, the tag
Hold
is
on.
still on. See the tag?
You're not kidding me.
Well, here's
Yeah.
why.
What is the price at the bottom?
$55.
Are you
What?
kidding me?
$55.
Oh my God.
That's a great value. He could turn that into a parachute when he's done wearing
Okay,
it.
first of all,
Dude,
that is true.
show this to the camera. Show this to MJTV.
wait.
He's not kidding.
Well, here's why.
Roxanne, can you grab the tag and aim it toward the camera?
There you go. I'm leaving. Somebody's got it.
Andrew, are you getting the tag on? Look at this. Literally, the tag, the price tag, the cardboard tag with that. What do you call that thing? You know, there are things in life that you just don't know the freaking names to.
Oh, the little plastic tag things?
The little plastic stringy thing with the handlebar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I have no
T-shape. They're like little
It's
T tags.
little T tags.
Who
Yeah.
invented that?
They're like nylon.
Someone very annoying.
They're exactly. They're nylon plastic, and they use that little gun with the needle to like put the price tag into the label. Dude, you're walking around with the price tag on this hideous shirt.
Well, this is the first time I'm wearing it. I've had
My
it for about
God.
2 months, and first time I'm wearing it, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to love it.
So wait a minute, that you
might
might return it.
I might return
You're
it.
wearing it. I have photographic evidence of you wearing it. I just put it up on Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, folks, if you want to see Fester's shirt, and people are already commenting that you also have the hideous turquoise Crocs.
They actually match us.
And they do.
Yeah.
There's a turquoise flower in this awful Hawaiian print black shirt that Fester's wearing, and he's wearing turquoise Crocs, and the Crocs actually go with flowers on this awful shirt. All right, so the image is up. I posted this on my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio. If you want to see Fester's hideous fashion this morning, go to my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio, and it's the last picture that I just posted. And you can see his hideous Crocs as well. I wish I knew about the tag. I would have. I would have taken a picture of the tag and put it in as well.
Can't you add it? I mean, we can add to the post, right?
No, you can't. You can't add once you take a photo and post, you can change and edit the text, but I don't think you can add a photo to the post.
When you were saying, I wish I knew about the tag, I thought you were saying, I wish I knew what the tag's name was. There is no name for those things. They're just called plastic tag thingies.
No, there's a name for it.
There's no name.
There's
How would you like to have invented that and it doesn't even have a name? You can't even brag about
No,
it.
there has to be a name.
No, there's no name.
There is got to be a name for the little plastic stringy thing that you try to pull off and you try to bite it with your teeth. You try to gnaw it off. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's the little plastic stringy thing that they stick in clothing where the price tag hangs off. There's got to be a name for that.
I found something on an answers.com board that says it's a Swift attacher.
A Swift attacher.
I don't know if
You're
I like
sitting
that.
over there saying there's no name for this thing. There's got to be. I don't know if Swift attacher's
That's not
right.
a verifiable name. Yeah.
All right, I got to talk about coleslaw. But if you want to see Fester's hideous shirt, it is on my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. And while you're there, give me a follow, Certified MJ Radio. Now, I teased coleslaw, and I know that I got Fester's attention when I teased coleslaw.
Yeah.
Fester, do you like a mayonnaise-based coleslaw, or do you like a vinegar-based coleslaw?
I'm a creamier coleslaw guy.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mayonnaise.
been known to add additional mayo packets
Do
to
it.
drier coleslaw
Do it.
to zhuzh it up a little bit.
I like vinegar-based coleslaw.
Of course you do. Coleslaw diva.
So I pointed out. I got a coleslaw story, and it also happens to be merged with a scenario that I hate. We have done these stories over the years, and I really despise these. I hate people that like fake fundraise. You know, people that will claim that they're sick. that they have cancer or that their child is ill and they try to raise money and it's a ruse. They're just ripping people off. Or people that rip off charities. I just have zero tolerance for really bad human beings that do things like this. So we have a money theft case. It involves coleslaw, happened in Pennsylvania, and the woman is charged with stealing money from a fundraising event for a cancer patient. So apparently this was a real cancer patient. There was a fundraiser being held. The woman's name is Camille Yoder. She's 55, and she was charged with theft by failure to make required disposition, theft by deception, receiving stolen property. Here's what happened. There was a fundraiser for a woman with cancer at the Sunny Rod and Gun Club in Minersville, Pennsylvania. Officers said that Yoder hosted a pulled pork fundraiser for a person suffering from cancer, contracted a chef who prepared enough pork for a minimum of 80 sandwiches that were to be sold as a platter with coleslaw and a baked potato for $15 each. So clearly, it didn't cost $15 to make the pulled pork sandwich, the baked potato, and the coleslaw. And whatever the cost was, I don't know, what, maybe $4 or $5 per platter. The remaining money, the profit, went to the fundraiser for the cancer patient. Well, guess what? Lots of people bought the platter, believing the money was going toward the cancer patient. But then the victim's family contacted this Yoder and said, hey, what about the money? We haven't seen any money for our relative who's suffering from cancer. And police said that Yoder eventually met with the family members, handed over $600 after trying to keep all the money, but then kept the remaining $780, saying that the coleslaw was much more expensive to make than she thought.
You know,
what the hell? Coleslaw has got to be one of the cheapest things that you can make.
You can buy a big bag of shredded cabbage for a couple of bucks.
Even cheaper. Buy cheap heads of cabbage and just chop it up yourself and then add mayonnaise and whatever other crap to the process.
It's not like eggs are an ingredient in coleslaw. Eggs are expensive.
The point, do you put eggs in coleslaw?
No, that's what I said.
Some people
they're not.
put eggs in potato salads.
Okay,
all right.
And then, of course, egg salads.
But the reason why I'm bringing this up, what was that clicking noise?
Oh, it was me going like this.
That's Fester's.
Oh, my God.
Click.
That's like he likes egg salad.
All right,
stop.
Stop with that, please.
All right,
Fester,
fine.
knock it off.
So, yeah, but eggs is not a traditional coleslaw ingredient. You know the secret to great coleslaw? Celery seed.
Really?
Just that much.
How
Little bit of
expensive is
celery.
that?
I don't think celery seed's that expensive.
It's not going to break the bank.
The point is, I hate people that scam people under a fake illness ruse or people that rip off from charity. You know, we've had stories about like a fundraising container that might be at the counter of a restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, for a little kid that's going through health issues. You know, maybe it's one of the servers' kids or relative, and people will steal the money fundraising container. What is wrong with people? It absolutely infuriates me.
Boy, that pulled pork sandwich with a potato and coleslaw does sound good, though.
Oh,
yeah.
Give me it now.
Oh, man.
Tell you what, I would have been happy to fork over. You know what? That's the kind of situation where they're asking $15. I give them a 20.
Whoa.
No.
I give them a 20 for the pulled pork platter to help the cancer patient. And then I got this cretin that's trying to walk off with all the money and then comes up with the lame excuse, oh, yeah, the coleslaw was really expensive to make. Get the hell out of here. All right, when we get back, ladies and gentlemen, among many things in the till over here, we have to talk about, and this will happen at 7:45, we got to talk about a big controversy when it comes to dining out with friends. This apparently is an issue, so we'll discuss that. If you don't know about the crazy incident at Mons Venus early Sunday morning, we just got word about this yesterday. It is absolutely insane. Also, there is a dilemma between a man and a woman, and he's trying to choose which woman he wants to, I guess, live the rest of his life with. So we have a dilemma, and we have a fact pattern that I must reveal, and we need to figure out which way should this guy go. This is sort of a dilemma. Which woman does he pick? Does he pick woman number 1 or woman number 2? And when I saw this last night, I was very fascinated by this. So hold on. We'll get to all that and a whole lot more next. And we start the long chunk of the MJ Morning Show. 1 hour and 20 minutes nonstop next. So don't move. Now, we are so... Little orchestral maneuvers in the dark, OMD. 7:24, MJ and the crew. It's Fester, it's Roxanne, it's Froggy, me, MJ. Welcome, folks. Oh, Fester, I was just checking my Instagram after I posted the image of you in the most hideous shirt that you've worn. And listen, Fester, you have the greatest density of hideous shirts that I think I've ever seen in
true.
any human being I've ever encountered in my entire life. In their wardrobe collection. You have the most hideous shirts. Yes. You have an affinity and affection for these Hawaiian shirts. And Fester is wearing a black Hawaiian shirt with red and green and pink and like
some light
blue.
blue.
I thought it was a blue
teal
shirt.
No, well, Froggy's
black.
colorblind.
It looks blue to me.
The base of the shirt is black. This is what you would wear to a Hawaiian funeral
or Hawaiian funeral
a Hawaiian
shirt.
formal
so,
event.
So listen to this.
Hawaiian wedding, maybe.
Yeah.
So you,
Black to a wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's
you
right.
got to hear this.
You can.
So Fester went to some big and tall shop.
Okay, not some big and tall
I'm
shop.
sorry.
The quintessential store for fat, sloppy, disgusting men.
And what is it called?
It's called DXL.
And where are they located?
There's locations everywhere. I went to the Brandon location.
All right. So Fester is wearing this DXL shirt. And when did you buy this?
Maybe after Christmas sale or something.
And the tag is still hanging. He still has the actual price tag that's still attached with that little nylon stringy thing from the back label of the shirt. So I took a picture of Fester's hideous shirt. I posted it on my Instagram, and I'm looking at some of the comments. People are like, oh, man, he's ready to rock on hump day. Here's a comment. Love the ketchup stains on the Crocs. Do you have ketchup stains on your Crocs?
No, I have a stain. It's not. I think it's paint on
Or
one
is
of
it
the
blood?
No, it's not blood. I think it's paint. I think the kids and I were painting something outside, and I'll hold it up to the camera.
Those
It
are
has
dirty.
Has like
I'm looking. I just zoomed in. So, folks, I posted the image on my Instagram. If you want to see the Fester hideous shirt of the day, it's on my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. Go to Certified MJ Radio and take a look. And then pinch and zoom and look. I'm telling you, it looks like...
Are you talking about this one right here? The one on the
Dude,
left foot?
it's all over the shoes. You got the guy's right. Who commented on this? Who said love the ketchup stains?
Okay, you know what the thing about Crocs is? You can put them in your dishwasher. You just put
That's great. Yeah, I want shoes I can put in. Yeah, I want to put... Yeah, that's great. So you're
Put
putting...
fungus all over the plate.
Exactly.
Vinegar stink feet in the
It
dishwasher.
sanitizes it, people.
That's the point. Exactly. So you're putting your fungus foot... Who said fungus foot?
Froggy.
That was,
You're
you're
putting...
fungifying everything else.
I mean,
No, you're not. You're sanitizing
dude,
it.
your toenails are screaming for Lamisil.
Toe jam on the other dishes. Ew.
And you're putting your Crocs in the dishwasher next to the utensils your family eats with?
Okay, utensils go in the bottom rack,
Oh
but
my
the Crocs go in the
God.
top
That's
rack.
horrific.
And you don't set the heat setting. You have to not have the heat. You'll shrink them.
Your Crocs are so big, they'll take up the whole entire dishwasher.
Anyway,
the whole top rack.
Thanks for noticing.
Who's the Wes Felder show? Who's the Wes Felder show?
I
What is
don't
that?
know. Was that with the commenters?
Yeah, he's
Everybody has a show these days.
He's the commenter who's commenting on the ketchup stains on your shoes. All right, take a look anyway,
All right.
ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen.
and if you're on Instagram, please follow me with my new handle, Fester Sucks.
That's great. Fester's new Instagram is Fester Sucks.
Why would you do that? I don't
Because
understand that.
I do.
Hang on, quickly, before I move on, we got a lot of stuff to do here. And we got to do a follow-up from yesterday because, man, our phones blew out. I got so many damn comments on this, and it involved a little controversy with Roxanne and something that she said after I said something. So I want to readdress something from yesterday's program that happened late in the show.
Well,
so
we had like 3 arguments, so we have to narrow it down.
and I will. I shall narrow it down in a minute. Quickly, let's do Around the Horn Instagram follow fest. Roxanne, you are
Roxanne Wilder.
on Instagram. So Roxanne Wilder. Fester is now Fester Sucks.
Which has really helped my follows. I mean, just by the stupid name.
All right, I am Certified MJ Radio. And Froggy, you are...
Froggy MJ Show. Very simple. Go ahead and follow.
There you go.
And I have some bikini photos that
What?
a friend
That's
of
not
mine
fair.
Well,
in the building has been prompting me to put
Yeah.
up, which I have not done it yet
All right.
this week. And
Yeah,
she's like, you
let's-
need to do this.
yeah,
For
let's speak the truth here. So Roxanne is trying to juice up her followers, And she got advice from Meredith, who works in the building. Meredith used to be on the MJ Morning Show years ago. And Meredith has the formula. You put skimpy, scantily clad photos on your Instagram, and your follower count goes through the roof.
Yeah, she has like 70,000 followers.
She's doing good. She's
hell?
doing well. She's my Instagram mentor, and she's like, I'm going to stalk you until you put bikini photos up this week.
I've got a lousy 12,100 followers, and,
You earned them with no
You need to
bikinis.
put on-
Exactly. I don't have any bikini photos on my Instagram. So, folks, give me a follow. Certified MJ Radio. Now, here is the dilemma. I want to run something by you. The dilemma is, and before I forget, don't miss it. 9 o'clock to 9:15 this morning, we're going to let you pick your ticket. So what is it, 7:30 right now? It's an hour and a half away. That's when the window opens. Between 9 and 9:15 today, I'm going to let you pick your ticket. You can either pick Duran Duran concert tickets, Bryan Adams with Joan Jett, or Kenny Loggins. So between 9 and 9:15, keep listening. We'll tell you when to call in, what number caller to be, and then you get to pick your ticket right here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Here is a dilemma. Might go to phones on this, actually. Curious as to what the room says. I read an item last night where a guy is torn between two women, and he's trying to figure out, who does he go for? Which woman does he choose? And these are the two potential stories here. The guy says he's torn between two different women. The girlfriend I love and an ex who still could be in the picture who's amazing in bed. So what do you do? Yeah. So what do you do? Does the guy choose the woman that he loves or an ex who was absolutely amazing in bed?
Why did they break up?
Yeah, how annoying is the ex?
I don't have that information, Andrew, but thank you for the inquiry.
There are,
I don't know.
Relationship expert Andrew brings up a fantastic point. I mean, you have to know why she's an ex. I mean, she could be great at one area of the relationship, but if she has like a cackle laugh, that's a non-starter. You know.
I think I read this. Didn't I send you this story, MJ?
You might have. It was in my pile. You know,
Yeah.
we get so much prep. We all do prep for the show. I do prep constantly. So maybe you sent me the story. But I was reading it last night. I'm like, you know what? This is an interesting dilemma. What do you do? What do you choose? You choose the woman you love or a woman that's amazing in bed?
Yeah, and I think the way that I read it, it wasn't that she's an ex. It was like him and his girlfriend broke up, and then he hooked up with her, and they had this great chemistry, and then now he's back with the girlfriend who he loves,
Right,
and he says he loves her.
But there are two women.
Right,
So
the two women.
He's trying to figure out which way does he go.
And so I think it's a question of like love or sexual attraction and chemistry. And so the obvious answer is that the chemistry kind of fizzles out after X amount of time, right?
You're talking about which one?
The
sexual attraction.
Yeah, the sexual
Right.
attraction.
And
that's
that's
going to get old just like everything.
That's what I was thinking, is that it might be fresh and new and exciting and, oh, my God, all the little brain chemicals might be all swirling around like a Vitamixer in your head. But it does kind of peter out, no pun intended. But it that'll wear off a little bit, whereas love really is long-term, right?
Yes, that's true. But I do think that it's important that you are with someone that you had at least that initial chemistry that he's talking about with the one girl, because then when you are not having as much chemistry, you look back and go, yeah, but remember when we used to do it every day? Like you have those memories of doing it every day and wanting to rip each other's clothes off. And
Are you speaking from experience,
No.
Roxanne? Sounds
No,
like you're speaking
I'm
from a very comfortable point of view.
I'm confused, Roxanne. I don't know what the hell
I will tell a funny story.
When Roxanne and Doug are sitting around, remember when we used to do it?
Listen, this is funny.
Okay.
Every single day, we were ripping each other's clothes off.
Doug.
Roxanne, just put the story out there. We'll decide.
Hold on, that's the clothes rip.
Doug.
Where's my pants?
Go ahead.
all of our he's in the car right now, probably with the kids. But
Yeah.
when we started dating, he lived in like the town and country area, and I lived in West Chase, and he used to drive to my house, whatever. I used to drive to his, and so the other day we had to go visit one of the houses in town and country, and he's like, "Remember when this used to be like a 10-minute drive? Didn't this used to feel like a 10-minute drive? Now it feels like a 20-minute drive." And he's like, and I'm like, "Yeah, because traffic is so bad now." He's like, "No, because we were so horny. We were just trying to get from one house to the other in 10 minutes."
And Doug.
Ripping each other's clothes off right there on Sheldon Road.
So you have to have the memories of.
I watch real estate agent, videos, and they seem a lot kinkier than Doug. Just,
You know what? Maybe he ought to start a new reality show, The Horny Realtor. What do you I think that has a ring to
That's
it.
a whole genre, man.
that's already
That's a whole genre.
The Horny Realtor.
That's already a very popular genre, especially so.
Oh, you're here for the tour. Come here.
Anyway, my advice is you go with the person that you love. That is more enduring than just the quick wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, the excitement of the upfront sex stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, not
Sure.
everybody can be a sexual dynamo like myself, so you really have to settle for love. Great.
But he should still tell the guy in the story should still tell the woman he's with what he wants in bed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, if you can somehow extract the excitement and the intimacy out of the woman you love and bring it to the level, then you got the best of both worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know there are a lot of teachers that are listening right now. I know there are a lot of parents listening right now, either driving to school, getting ready to go to school. Roxanne, are you aware, and you, well, actually, all of you guys have school-age kids. You know, my son, Julian, is about to graduate high school. Chloe is a junior in college. So, Roxanne, you have, what, a 3 and a 5-year-old?
Yes.
Fester, you have, what, you've got...
I have an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Okay, and then, Froggy, you're sitting
11
at...
and 8.
11 and 8. Now, when you get communication from your kids' teachers... do you know how to read through what they're really trying to say? So if you get an email about your kid and something that's going on at school, performance related, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, your perception, whether maybe you go to a parent-teacher conference, are you aware of apparently teacher speak, teacher code, when they say or write something, what it really means? Are you guys aware of this?
Like, give an example. Like,
I'm glad you asked because I am armed with examples. Here we go. There is a code. This teacher is delivering the story on various social media platforms, and this particular teacher is saying that they have a code when they communicate with parents. Here are some examples. What they're saying, what the real meaning is. When a teacher... Roxanne, pay attention.
I am paying attention.
When teachers use phrases like, your child is very social, do you know what that really means?
the kid doesn't shut up.
Yeah, shut
Exactly.
up.
That's it. Bingo.
Yeah.
They don't shut up. They won't stop in class. When a teacher says, oh, your child is very social, they won't stop talking. They won't clam it up. You ready for another one?
Yes.
What happens when a teacher says, your child's excitement is contagious?
They can't sit still.
Exactly. They won't calm down. They are rambunctious. They are completely hyperactive. It's like they've got ants in their pants. They won't stop. So your child's excitement is contagious. It's like the teacher wants to strap them down to the desk. That's what it means. Like,
Isn't it also he gets other kids worked up too? If he's contagious.
Yeah, agitates other
He
students.
makes other kids all like,
Get them hyper.
yeah, get them all hyped up.
You ready for the next one?
Please.
If the teacher says, oh, your kid is a natural born leader, what does that mean?
He's a bully. I don't know.
You're pretty close. your kid is totally bossy.
Yeah, bossy.
Yeah. If the teacher says, "Oh yeah, little Johnny's a natural born leader," means the kid's a bossy, and I would say bullyish probably works in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tell me what this one is. If the teacher says your son or your daughter is going to make a great lawyer, what do you think the teacher? What?
They argue with every kid.
Yeah.
Bingo. But I'll narrow it down even more. The kid won't stop arguing with the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the kid's like just constantly trying to get into it with the teacher. Always, maybe back chatting, a little talk back.
Ugh.
So your kid is going to be a great lawyer. It's like your kid won't stop arguing with me. And if I could get away with slapping him, I would.
That's a real passive-aggressive insult. Oh, your kid will make a great lawyer.
So those are little secret phrases that if your teacher for your kid communicates any of those phrases, they say one thing, but it has a different meaning. I'd love to know how many parents are listening right now and have heard essentially those phrases or similar phrases, and now you know what the teacher really meant.
There's got to be other phrases, though. Like, what do you call the smelly kid?
Your kid reminds me of Son of Sam. Your kid reminds me of, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Because you don't want to say they're going to grow up to be a serial killer, so you make those soft comparisons.
I just want to say I don't think you should ever own pets. Because kid's nuts.
Let's deal with something that came up on yesterday's show. It was late in the show. I think it was about 9:00. And I want to impress upon everyone that's listening now to figure out a way to listen to the MJ Morning Show longer, because you are missing a lot of material. So if you're only in a zone where you're listening to us for, 15, 20, 30 minutes or whatever, you got to figure out a way how to continue to listen to the show for the rest of the time that we're on every morning. We come on at 6 a.m. and we're on till close to 10 a.m. So if you like what you hear now, imagine what you're missing later. So this happened around 9:00 yesterday. And I want to just impress upon you that when you get to work or you get to your destination, you can continue listening to the MJ Morning Show. Just bring us up on your smartphone. Your smartphone is a radio. I know you heard the promos. Your smartphone is a radio, but it's true. You just get the apps. Get the iHeart app, get the TuneIn app, the Odyssey app, my Q105 app, and all you got to do is search for Q105 Tampa Bay, and you can listen to us on your phone. Use an earpod if you want. Have it play out of the speaker. You can use a smart speaker at work. At work, you can just go to your desktop computer, go to mjmorningshow.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a big red button that says Listen Live. You can listen on your computer at work. So many ways. All right, so this came up about 9:00. This is just an example of stuff that you might miss if you don't listen to the whole show. Roxanne, do you know what I'm about to bring up?
Probably. Does it have to do with planes?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a very interesting and spirited discussion yesterday, and we had 2 flight attendants call in. The story was that the biggest flight attendant union in the country is making another push to ban parents from holding babies and infants on their lap on the airplane, because right now most airlines allow you to hold your kid if they're Is it 2 and under?
Yeah.
Or under
it's
2?
No, it's 2 years of age and so you can be just about to turn 3.
Okay, so it's under 3.
Yes.
So 2 and under, you're allowed to hold your baby on most U.S. commercial airlines. I think it's pretty much all of them.
I just want to stop you. The way that you're describing this, it's funny you say it this way, will no longer allow parents to do this. It's pretty standard procedure. It's not like something a parent is asking special permission to do.
It is.
That's kind of how it
that's
works.
Right.
So I want to frame it that way.
Well, all right. The problem is it's unsafe. And we had 2 flight attendants call yesterday, and they were like, absolutely not. Parents should not be able to hold small kids. In the event of an accident, turbulence, whether it's known bad weather you're flying through or what they call clear air turbulence or CAT, where you don't see it coming, we have flight attendants that have seen things fly. A baby will fly. A baby in your arms will become a projectile. One of the flight attendants that called in yesterday said, would you drive in your car on the road with your baby just in your arms? Of course not. And what's happening is one of the biggest flight attendant unions, they're making another run at trying to get the federal rules changed so that you need to put your kid in a car seat when you fly. And I understand that for many, it's cost cutting. It helps them save. They don't have to buy a seat for their kid, but it's a safety issue. And Roxanne, you seemed flabbergasted when I said that I think it's wrong to hold your kid because I guess you've always done it.
Well, let's be clear. I'm not trying to say Roxanne is pro kids popping around like popcorn in the airplane and bonking their heads all over the place. She wants babies to bonk her head on the top of the plane. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is get on a plane and look around you. All the moms have the babies in their lap.
Not all. I see.
I've never seen a baby in a travel seat as often as I travel.
That is insane. I see it all the time. We just flew to Scotland and back, and I saw babies in car seats.
I've never seen it.
Are you serious?
I promise. I will tell you.
Yeah, it's not common.
I've never seen a baby in a car seat on a plane.
Michelle and I'm
thinking.
We had our first child in August of 2001. 3 weeks before 9/11, Chloe was born. We traveled with Chloe that December down to the Cayman Islands. And Chloe was 4 months old, and we had Chloe in the little car seat that we strapped into the airplane seat. You use the airplane seat belt. They've got approved carriers that you can do it on. We were doing this 22 years ago. We were doing this. And Roxanne, you told me that you had communicated with a friend of yours that is a flight attendant.
Yes.
And miraculously, your friend said, oh, there's nothing wrong with holding babies. But we had 2 flight attendants. One had just retired from United, called in yesterday after 30 years. And I just find it interesting that we had 2 flight attendants call in and said, absolutely not. Get your babies out of your arms. Get them in a car seat. In their own seat. It is a total safety situation. But you claim your friend, the flight attendant, said, oh, no,
I don't claim.
Babies.
That's a fact.
Well, but that's insane that your friend is a flight attendant and has the position, essentially, hey, let the babies fly all over the cabin in the event of turbulence or a hard landing or whatever.
Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Kids' safety is paramount to me. Obviously, I have young children.
Right.
Obviously, that's all I thought about when they were little is taking care of them. So I have an open mind to, okay, maybe this is the evolution of where it should go and kids should be in carriers if they're that little. However, I want to bring up some other points. You know, maybe this is an instance, oh, we used to smoke Lucky Strikes when we were pregnant and everything's going to turn out fine. No, I'm not saying that I'm closed to this. But what I do want to point out is, when does it stop? Like you talk about the turbulence. Maybe we should all pee our pants in our seats and not get up for fear of turbulence hitting when we're in the air. How often does this happen?
But you're
you ask for callers for flight attendants, and I'm saying, what about the parents who've had their babies jostled on the plane? I mean, what if your baby is next to you in their seat and then you want to breastfeed? Should you not take the baby out to feed the baby? Should you not take the baby out to comfort the baby for fear that at that moment the turbulence is going to hit?
Listen,
it's kind of a common thing.
Having your baby, it is a common thing. But listen, Roxanne, don't shoot me.
I'm not shooting you. I'm just giving you facts.
Don't shoot the messenger.
And don't shoot us people who soil ourselves on planes,
Exactly.
Roxanne. I'm really offended by that.
The flight attendants union is trying to get people to put their kids in car seats, and the flight attendants are trying to get the FAA to stipulate that parents can't hold babies on planes anymore. It's, let's go back to phones on this.
For goodness sake.
Yeah.
You got your 2 phone calls you wanted yesterday. What else do you need?
Because now we're dealing with this as a follow-up, and with the earlier crowd. We're doing this, almost an hour and a half or 2 hours earlier. All right, let's go to just a couple of calls. If you're a flight attendant or a captain or first officer, I'd love to hear from you. Or listen, if you want to just weigh in on this discussion, just don't shoot in the messenger here. The big flight attendants union is saying, for the safety of the kids, stop holding your baby on the airplane to save money. Put the baby in a car seat for absolute security. All right, 800-990-1047. Just a couple of calls. We got to move on because there's also apparently a controversy that I didn't know was this big regarding dining out with a couple. There's a whole thing that I thought was pretty standard, but this is apparently a big issue. So we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's wrap up this. I'd love to hear from flight attendants again or flight crew, captains, co-pilots. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Again, I thought this was important enough to bring up again and do a follow-up from what we did late in the show yesterday. And if you want to just weigh in on this, look at the phones. Every line is jammed. 800-990-1047 is how you get in. Let's grab Michael up first in Largo. Michael, MJ Morning Show, you're up. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you today?
Oh, we're great, Michael. Go ahead.
Hey, don't they make you check the car seats at the baggage claim?
No, only if you want to check it can you check it. But if you don't have a seat for your kid. If you have a seat for your kid and you have an approved airplane car seat, which most of them are these days, you bring the car seat on and you put it in the seat that you purchased for your baby, for your infant or your toddler or whatever.
Every flight that I've been on, they make them take the baby out and put it in the bottom of
because they didn't buy a seat for the kid. That's why. When you buy a seat for your kid, which is what you should do, you take the car seat on and your kid sits in the car seat that you strap to the airplane seatbelt.
Understood.
Okay, that's it. That's the delineation. Michael, thank you for calling in. Rodney is in Tampa. Rodney, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? I totally agree with Roxanne. I don't know how much longer we're going to allow people to dictate our parenting rights. It's not right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I got it. You're pro babies flying around the cabin. You're pro babies.
That's exactly what that means. Me and Rodney want babies to pop like popcorn.
Rodney is pro babies flying to the front of the plane like a missile in the event of a mishap on the airplane.
Do you know how ridiculous you sound when you say that? Oh, baby's going to fly around the cabin.
Rodney, not as ridiculous as you sound 18 miles away on your hands-free device.
That's a good point, Rodney. You do sound like crap.
It is what it is there, MJ. I think people on how to raise their children.
Rodney, it's not. Rodney, don't yell at me. It's this big, huge flight attendants union that's pushing for the feds to change the rule.
I'm not yelling at you, but as firm as you are on the way you say you see things and you do things.
I just care about the safety of the child. Rodney, you're too far away with your hands free. I got to cut you loose. But thanks. Let me grab what?
MJ, I've got some news for you.
Yep.
If all of a sudden they instilled that rule, there's going to be a lot of screaming babies on the plane, because when they're flying in a plane for the first time and they're not knowing what that situation is, they want to be in their mother's arms.
The kid is right next to the mother. Okay. The kid is in the car seat, in the adjacent seat. It's not like the mother's in 12D and the baby's back in 32A. All right, let me go back to phones. Debbie's in Bradenton. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Did I lose Debbie? Oh, I picked up the wrong thing. Hold on a minute. Hang on, Debbie. My bad. I picked up the wrong thing. Hang on a minute, Debbie.
You got it?
Yeah, hang on. I got to put this on hold and pick up this side. Hey, Debbie, I'm sorry about that. You're on the MJ Morning Show. Go.
Oh, my gosh. I love you guys. Yeah. So I was just telling the gentleman that answered.
That's Andrew, the producer, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, he's very nice.
You don't have to call
I'm
him
a retired pediatric nurse, and my twins are now 32 years old, and my youngest is 31, so 3 in car seats. And I just thought it was ridiculous since the beginning of time that we would put a child in a car seat, in a car, in a plane, on a train, on a bus. I don't care what it is, you put your child in a car seat, especially under the age of 3.
Absolutely.
So here I was, when I flew a lot. I took my kids all over, and I put them on all kinds of planes.
Oh, hang on one sec. Hey, do me a favor. Andrew, quickly, tell JC, captain for a major airline on line 3, tell him to hang on. He's next, all right? Tell line 3 right now he's next. All right, I'm sorry, Debbie. Go ahead.
Anyway, the airlines were all very helpful with helping me as a single mom carry my 3 car seats onto the plane, strapping the kids in. And when the one person said, well, what about if you need to breastfeed? I breastfed all of mine. And what I did was I pumped and put stuff in a bottle so that I fed my infants on the plane without having to take them out of the car seat.
Right, but also, listen, if you're on a 2.5, 3-hour flight or a 5-hour flight, having the child in the car seat for the bulk of the flight clearly is safe and much safer. But if you got to take your baby out for a few minutes, that's much better than having your baby out for the entire flight.
Yeah, that's absolutely for sure. But this is the thing that, I mean, okay, so 2 and under, so essentially they could be 2 years, 11 months, and 29 days.
Absolutely.
The ticket was free. So for me, who flew a lot and didn't have to buy a ticket for 3 babies.
Well, why was the ticket free?
Free. It is if they're 2 and under.
No, not anymore. You got to. I don't. Maybe back years ago, but not anymore.
Exactly.
You got to buy your seat now.
Exactly. So you have to buy a seat.
It's free if you hold your baby, and that's why a lot of people hold the babies.
I know, but I think that it shouldn't be that way. That it should be free for 2 and under.
Yeah, but the problem is that it's airlines there to make money, and you can't give up a seat that can be sold. Hey, Debbie, great point. Thank you, Debbie. I want to grab the captain here. JC is a captain for a major airline in Tampa. Hello, JC. You're on the MJ Morning Show.
Good morning, MJ. How are you?
We are doing well.
So I understand both sides of the argument, but as a captain for a major airline, I can tell you we train for just about every potential contingency emergency that there is out there. Do they happen? Usually not. But over the course of a career, they certainly can and do happen. The same is true with a child in a seat that's not strapped in during turbulence.
So, JC, what is your position? Do you concur with the flight attendants union that are trying to get the feds to change the rule so you have to have your kid in a car seat on the airplane and not in the mother's arms?
I concur with the flight attendants union. Your child is your most precious cargo. Is it likely that you're going to hit turbulence so bad that the child's going to bounce around the cabin? No. But is it possible? Yes. And I would not want to live with the guilt of having my child injured or killed in case that ever happened.
But also, Captain, the chance of an airline mishap or an accident, again, is very, very rare. You're much more likely to be in a car wreck than to be in a plane accident. But there are a lot of the plane wrecks are survivable. And there are, crash landings on the runway, for instance. And in many cases, a lot of airplane mishaps are totally survivable. I can think of there was a big, heavy, like an Airbus 330 or something, and had that crash landing in Canada. Everybody got off the plane. But what happens if someone's holding a baby? That baby could become a missile and become a projectile and fly out of the mother's arms.
You're absolutely correct.
All right, Captain, if you don't mind me asking, what equipment do you fly?
I fly the A321.
All right, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you calling in and listening. Fly safe.
Have a great day.
You too. Let's grab Nicole in Newport. We're running a little late here. I want to get into the dining out deal with couples because this is a controversy. I didn't know. I thought this was SOP. I thought this was standard operating procedure, but there's an issue. There's an undercurrent. There is an issue as far as something that happens when you dine out with another couple, and we're going to discuss in a minute. Nicole is in. A few more calls here, Andrew. That's it. Let me just clear the board, and then we'll move on here. But Nicole's in Newport Richie. Hey, Nicole.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks. So I've been a flight attendant for 11 years, and I definitely agree that we need to get babies in car seats on airplanes. It's just so much safer. So
it's miraculous. Your flight attendant friend, Roxanne, is the only flight attendant that says that babies ought to be free to fly around the cabin.
Okay.
You're now free to fly about the cabin.
Nicole, hold one moment, please.
It's the new wait a minute. It's the new Southwest commercial. Hang on a minute.
Sure. Kids are now free.
You're now free to fly around the cabin. Little 2-month-old. All right, I'm sorry.
Can I just tell you, MJ, all I can see in this wretched studio is your little eyeballs.
My beady little eyes.
And they are giving me the most pompous look with this pilot on the phone and now Nicole on the phone. And Nicole, I completely respect your opinion. If you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not close-minded to this. You're opening my eyes, but you don't need to chastise me and look at me like, see, I told you, your flight attendant friend. No.
I'm not looking at you. You're perceiving something.
I'm seeing your eyeballs give me a very chastising, snooty patootie, pompous look,
No,
and it needs to stop right now.
I'm not. All right, Nicole, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying a lot of the reason why they haven't done it yet, because flight attendants have been pushing for this for a long time, is that we think it will drive more people to make them drive, since it'll make flying more expensive, since they'll have to buy a ticket for their baby now.
Yep.
And flying is technically more safe than driving, so we don't want to push people into driving since they can't afford the plane ticket.
And you've been a flight attendant for 11 years, you said?
Yes.
And you're currently a flight attendant?
Yes.
Do you mind saying which carrier?
I'd rather not.
All right, but it's one of them. Are you based
It's
in
a major airline. Yes.
Major airline, and are you based in Tampa?
Yes.
All right, listen, Nicole, thank you for checking in. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Take care.
So now, Roxanne, I'm just saying that every single crew member that's called, yesterday when we dealt with this, 2 flight attendants, we just had a captain, active flight attendant, they all say, put your kid in a car seat. And it's not a revenue play, it's a safety play.
Okay. How much longer are we going to talk about this?
I'm exhausted.
Do you want me to move on?
I think you proved your point. I want you to talk about it more.
You win the Children Safety Award of the Year. I present to you the man who's speaking for babies all around the country.
All right, we have the award for Baby Safety Award of the Year.
2 more. We got 2 people.
What?
Well, we have 2 people who have been holding for 10 minutes
Fantastic.
here. Customer service is what I'm all about. Steve, quickly in Tampa, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to weigh in. There's some really cool straps that you can connect to your baby seat that will attach right to your carry-on. We used to do it all the time. You stick your child in a little baby seat, right on your carry-on, easy, kids controlled. You don't have to worry about losing the baby seat. We were just on a direct flight the other day. The airline lost 3 out of our 7 pieces of luggage. So you control the kid. You're more comfortable in the air, safer for everyone, and you don't have to worry about losing your seat. That's all. Love you. Thank you very much.
Love you too, Steve. Thanks.
You.
All right, quickly, last one. John's been holding a long time in Bradenton, and then we'll move on to the big restaurant dining out dilemma. John, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Roxanne, I'm siding with you on this. I mean, I have a 7-year-old. She's 7 now.
So you're in favor of babies getting injured, is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what John and I are in favor of. Well, you get your award for Kids Safety of the Year. John and I are going to have our company that we're going to start on how to injure more children.
All right, John, go ahead.
Exactly. So my baby's been flying for pretty much most of her life, and long distances. And when she was about a year old, a little under a year old, we did a flight to Hawaii. And I mean, not for nothing, we had her in like one of those bombo wraps.
Yeah.
And she was very well secured. But I mean, not for nothing, like you had said, it's a scary thing for them, especially with ears popping, and it's a comfort thing. And I get it, MJ. If they're in the seat next to you, yes, that works, especially when they're a little bit older. But they need to have that comfort and that warmth and the heartbeat of one of their parents there to help keep them, because otherwise it's gonna be a hell of a flight for everybody else.
Well,
John with the final word. Love it.
I'm just siding with the captain, all the flight attendants, and again, our parenting from the beginning was much safer for the kid to be in a car seat. Hey, John, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right, let's move on. Now, I was blown away by the email that I got on that. I wanted to revisit it for the early crowd and look at the number of phone calls that just generated. So, hey, if you're a parent, do what you want, but keep in mind there could be a rule change because the flight attendants unions are pushing for car seats for kids, and it might at some point be that you can't hold your kid on an airplane.
Maybe you can testify on the flight attendants' behalf at their next conference for that.
And
lobby for them.
On Capitol Hill?
Yes, please.
I can be like on Capitol Hill before a subcommittee with my name on a little placard?
Yes.
And I can drink a bottle of water?
Now we call MJ, who is the winner of the Children's Advocate of the Year. Yes.
Thank you very much for recognizing me, Roxanne. You're angry at me.
We're not. Nobody's angry. Nobody.
No.
Roxy, just stop.
No.
None of us are angry. We're just ready.
Moving along.
Oh, for that. Yes, that's what we're ready for.
Dude, you are a curmudgeon.
No, I'm not. I swear to God, it's not me. I swear I'm not alone.
Fester,
Don't make me take calls to see if I'm alone or not.
Fester, you're grumpy. All right, here is another What are you doing?
No, come on.
I'm moving along here.
I'm encouraging you.
Did Fester just say, don't make me take
You're
calls?
making heart attack noises over here.
This is me supporting you. Moving on.
All right. Stop making noises. All right. Now, I had no idea that this was as much of a controversy. When we go out to dinner with a couple, what is the standard procedure? So it's Michelle and me and another couple, or maybe it's two other couples. What is the standard procedure when you go out to dinner and the check comes to the table?
Oh, God. Who's the other couple? I mean, if the other couple is me, I'm telling you, MJ's picking up the bill. No question. All right.
I'm talking about a real world here, okay?
That's right. We don't go out. You're right. So my wife always will request separate checks at the beginning of a meal. And it drives me a little crazy because either I'll pick up a tab or the other guy will pick up a tab, but I'm a non-check splitter. Either I'll pick up the whole thing and I'll be like, hey, we'll get you next time, or they pick up the whole thing and vice back and forth. But Allison always gets her ass chapped over that. And when the waiter or waitress first comes, she'll be like, separate checks. And I'm like, oh.
So you're out to dinner with somebody and she blurts out separate checks?
She's a blurter.
All right.
Oh, God. She doesn't want to get stuck with their check, and worse, she doesn't want them to get stuck with our check.
Well, here's the deal. When you go out to dinner, it is pretty common to split the check. I know that when we go out to dinner with another couple, you just each throw the credit card on the table, on the little the check tray or the little folding check portfolio. You put both credit cards in and you split the check. What I didn't realize, apparently, this is ultra controversial, that a lot of Americans, according to a survey, are opposed to splitting the check. And one of the reasons why is if there's disparity in the price of the entrees. Like somebody could order, let's say, spaghetti for $17.95, and someone can have the black grouper special with lump crab meat for $42.95, and there's a disparity. So I read this little study. There was a survey, and that sharing is not always what people want to do when it comes to a check. A third of Americans don't think the bill should be split evenly if the meals didn't cost the same amount. 2,000 adults looked at some things when it comes to restaurants and spending, and this survey looked at some of the things that customers, adults, what bothers them. And there's a 33% of those surveyed don't think the check should be split, especially if there is a non equal amount of what each couple had ordered.
Okay.
Like what happens if you have one of the individuals that's just ordering all kinds of martinis and cocktails?
That's the other side of it.
Yeah,
the alcohol is worse than the $10 or $15 difference in the entree.
Sometimes you're 100% right. We ought to go to phones on this as well. Has this ever become a point of contention? Has this ever become an uncomfortable issue? Have you ever had an argument? Have you ever been out with a couple and then you start to forensically rip the bill apart? Do you become a forensic accountant?
That would be annoying.
Exactly. Do you become an auditor at the? Oh well, let's see here. Your entree was $32.95. Mine was only $24.95. You had 3 martinis or lemon drop whatever. I'd love to go to phones on this. 800-990-1047. Or maybe there's some angles that I'm missing. Maybe you were involved in a couple's dinner out. Maybe this came up. We rely on our listeners to bring us all kinds of angles and stories and scenarios that, we didn't even think of. What are your thoughts on this? Are you opposed? I don't think twice about it. I'm not sitting there with a calculator going, I'm out really $12.47 with this transaction. Man, I'm the loser. I don't do that. When you go out with a couple, you enjoy the company, and I just split the check. I don't have an issue.
I don't know. If you ordered like a sweet tea and the other guy's getting scotch and soda after scotch and soda and you're like, hold on a second, they're $14 each. He's had 6 of them.
Well, listen, if it gets obnoxious,
Okay,
that's different. But just the normal check splitting. All right, let's go to phones. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Roxanne, you have totally checked out for the last. Are you still angry about the airplane deal?
No, I'm not angry, but I'm still doing follow up with that. Now my sister's talking to me about
Well,
airplane
hold on.
seats.
Hold on,
Everybody
hold on.
is just airplane seating me to death over here. Okay, but I've moved on with you now. What's up?
Well, no.
What's up?
I'd rather you pay attention to the show when we're live on the air than all the texts and your sister.
Bills.
Listen, I call me wacky, call me Mr. Mino over here, but I'd rather you kind of focus on the show and not check out for 5 minutes.
You were talking the entire time. I heard everything you said. Who should pay? Should you split the bill? Do you get mad if you don't split it up exactly per what you ate? Look, here's my opinion. When I go to eat,
She was listening.
I try to eat. I try to not order the most expensive thing on the menu. So if we are splitting the bill with someone, then my meal isn't going to put us over the edge and make us greater than 50% of that. I just try to do that because whatever. I don't.
When you go out with a couple, do you guys? And you're an accountant by trade.
Yeah.
Didn't you work for
Arthur Anderson?
You worked for one of the big accounting firms.
I did.
You're an accountant.
Yes.
You're a ball of fire by nature.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But when you go out with a couple, do you typically just go, boom, split it in half?
Mm-hmm. No.
No?
No. Somebody picks it up. Either we pick it up or they pick it up.
She goes to dinner with Derek Jeter. Of course he picks it up.
No. Usually it's we want to take you to dinner. Will you come to dinner? We want to take you.
That's what she did for us.
Yeah. And then, that's it.
Yeah, typically, when we go out with a couple, it's not, hey, I'm paying for dinner. Usually it's just, hey, let's just split the check.
Yeah, and sometimes on those occasions, we've done that before, then it's split the check, yeah.
All right, look at the phones. Phones have just blown up on this. Melissa in St. Pete. Melissa, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. What's your take?
I think that it's okay to just separate checks. I'm a teacher now, but when I was in college, I waited tables, and now went back to waiting tables to put my kid through private school. It's okay with the computer systems. Everything is easy. Boop, boop. We know who's with who, and it's easy to split a check with who's with who, what party with what party. It's not a big deal like it was back in the day.
All right, Melissa, when's the last time that, are you married, Melissa?
Oh, yeah.
All right, when's the last time that you and your husband went out with friends?
Last weekend.
Okay, last weekend. Did you split the check, or did you just or did you ask for separate checks?
No, it depends who I'm with.
All right, so last weekend, what'd you do?
Say that. So last week we just split the check.
Yeah, so both credit cards down on the table, boom. All right.
But I mean that they're like family. But if I am out with somebody who, an acquaintance that we're just meeting, that I meet once in a while, not somebody who's like family that I've known all my life,
right.
We're splitting the check.
Got you loud and clear. Thanks, Melissa. Opens up a line, 800-990-1047.
I think now in these inflationary times, people are keeping budgets. And if you go out and you're like, hey, in my mind, I know I can only spend X amount. And then you're out to dinner with someone who's getting stone crabs and the most expensive bottle of wine.
I'll take the 3.5 pound lobster while the other guy gets a $19 entree.
Yeah, then you're kind of like, ooh, so
Back to phones. Nicole is in Clearwater. Hey, Nicole. I never knew this was controversial, but it is. Hello.
Hi. My whole family is actually from Russia, so we're all European. And we fight over the check. I don't know. I think...
You mean you fight, meaning everyone's trying to grab the check to pay for it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Man, I need to go out with them.
The first person...
to an expensive restaurant.
That's who gets the check. And we're all trying to be the first, so...
What about friends, though? Not family. What about going out with friends?
Now, with friends, I mean, I've been in America most of my life. I'm only 23 years old, so all my friends are American.
Yep.
They enjoy splitting the check. They'll go and tell the server that, hey, we want to split the check before we want to do it. But I, a lot of the times, end up picking up the check because that's just who I am.
But again, let's not confuse the terminology. Splitting the check is when you're out with another couple and you say, all right, here are both credit cards, just split the check 50-50 versus separate checks.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're going out with a group of people, like you said, you're with your wife and you're with another couple, you know, I mean, I think that, you know, the person that invited them should be picking up the check anyways. But, you know, no matter what, I feel like, you know, it shouldn't be a situation where someone's saying, oh, I'll pick up this, and another person will pick up this. If you're friends with the person, you like that person, you should want to take care of that person. Maybe that's just because it's how I was raised. But
And Nicole and Roxanne as well, there are many times where I have picked up the check. It's an occasion, and I owe somebody dinner, and I absolutely pick up the check. Nicole, thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
thank you so much. I love you guys.
Love you too. 23 years old. You know, again, we have the best demographic spread in morning radio in the entire Tampa Bay market. 23-year-old listener. We've got teenagers. We've got 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. We've got the best demographic spread for audience reach. It's amazing. A couple more calls here, then we're going to move on. Tiffany is in Ruskin. Hey, Tiffany, it's the great restaurant check controversy. Where do you fall?
My husband, 90% of the time, he picks up the check. He thinks it's embarrassing to itemize the check. Like, when it comes, he doesn't even look at the check.
Yeah, but not itemized, but just each couple throws down a card and you split it.
No, he's like, I'm paying for it all. I don't want to this person got this person, or even splitting it halfway. He's like, no, I've got it. I don't care if you invited me. I invited you. I'm paying for it. And I'm like, oh no, let's split the check. Like, you know, half the money back is rather than no money.
Tiffany, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a great day. All right, 3 more calls and we got to move on. The Mons Venus story is insane. And this just hit the local news yesterday after this was just floating around for like 2.5 days before it made the news. If you don't know what happened at Mons Venus, this is unbelievable. All right, back to phones, and then we'll go to the Mons story. We talked about it first thing this morning. Let me grab 3 more, Nia, AJ, and Michelle, and then we're going to move on here. Nia is in Newport Richie. Hey, Nia.
Hi.
Hello.
I listen to you guys every morning. I love you guys.
Love you too. Thank you, Nia. What's your take on this?
So I had a best friend that every payday we would go out to dinner and we would switch. One Friday she would pay, the next Friday I would pay.
Uh-huh.
And so after, I don't know, 15, 20 times, I said, but wait a minute, like, I always pay when we go to, like, the expensive restaurants, and you pay when we go to the cheaper one. So the next time you're paying for it. And just say we're no longer friends.
Whoa, really?
Overpaying for dinner?
All right, so hold on a minute. So she would go out with her friend, and give me an example. Give me an example of a restaurant. Give me a name or a type of restaurant that you would go and it was the more expensive and you would pay, and then give me an example of one of the places you'd go to that maybe she would pick and it'd be cheaper and she paid. Give me 2 examples.
So my favorite restaurant is Carrabba's. I love their blackberry sangria.
Right.
So then when we would go to, like, Applebee's, she would pay. And then when we would go to Carrabba's, or let's just say, like, I'll get an appetizer, she would get an appetizer, and then I would end up paying for the most expensive appetizer. Oh, my check was always $20 to $30 more than hers.
More than hers when she treated. Gotcha. And you're no longer friends. That busted up the friendship.
Because it's you know, when you turn around, I mean, I'm a very good friend. I don't keep track, you know, because it's like, okay, you, me. But when you turn around and look at other things in regards to the friendship, I always get the short end of the stick. And then when you mention it and you say something about it, after a while, they don't like it.
Thanks for the call, Lee. Appreciate it. All right, 2 more, and then we're moving on to the Mons Venus. The crazy story that just happened early on Sunday morning that just came to light yesterday. Insane. AJ, Dade City. AJ, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
So I have a perspective on this. I'm a bartender. So usually I find that people, like couples in their late 40s and 50s, usually one dude will pick up the check for everybody, like when it's 2 couples. And they just usually swap doing that, and it makes sense for that. My age, I'm like in my late 30s. Usually me and my husband, when we go out with another couple, we just say, here, we throw both cards in.
So I'm in my mid-50s, and we always, when I go out with friends, it's just we throw down a card each, and we just split the check. Thank you, AJ. Appreciate the call. All right, final call on this, and then the Mons Venus wackiness. Hold on. Michelle in Tampa, hi.
Hi. Love you guys. Listen to you all the time. When my husband and or I go out with family, we always pick up the check, and it's kind of expected because we have better jobs than a lot of our family, but it's not a problem.
All right.
When I go out with my girlfriends from work, we usually go ahead and just ask for separate checks. It's always worked out great. The only problem we ever had was we went to Terra Gaucha, and there was an online coupon, and they said only one coupon per table. So since we had separate checks, we had to decide who got the coupon. And so I won't go back there again. They just got me angry. But we split it when it's with friends. We pay when it's with family.
Is that on Southdale Mabry?
It is.
Yeah, I've heard really good things. Listen, I'm not going to hold it against them that there was a coupon issue, but I haven't been there. But I've been to. I used to love the old Boy Zow. Remember Boy Zow?
Yeah.
Boy Zow, right across from International. Then it became the Lucky Dill, and now Lucky Dill's gone. That building is vacant for like years now.
Not too lucky.
That location apparently is. Boy Zow was great, but Texas Day Brazil.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, Texas
I love that
Texas
place.
Day Brazil is great, but also the Terra Gaucho's very similar, right?
It's very similar. I'm thinking about going to El Churrascaso this weekend, but I haven't been there, so I don't know if it's good or not.
Gotcha.
You eat a lot of meat, Michelle.
Yeah, very much a carnivore. Michelle, thanks for listening to the show.
A lot of meat.
MJ Morning Show, number one with carnivores.
Oh, wow.
Here we go. The Mons Venus story is insane. And I'm going to tell you right, a full disclosure, I have not been to the Mons Venus since Michelle was in law school. I've been to the Mons Venus strip club twice. The first time was the summer of '94, just before I got married to Michelle. We got married on June 26th of 1994. In early June, the morning crew from the old MJ and BJ morning show, they took me on a bachelor party night, and we went to Mons Venus. Then we walked across the street to the 2001, and that was the first time I was ever in a strip club, number one, and the first time I was ever at the Mons Venus. Then, when Michelle was in law school, going to Stetson, right over in Gulfport, that's when Bob Buckhorn, former city council, then the mayor of Tampa, Bob Buckhorn introduced that 6-foot rule, where the customer could not be within 6 feet of the dancer, and that kind of blew the whole lap dance thing out of the water, and it was never really enforced, and I think technically it's still on the books, but it's just not enforced. So Michelle wanted to see, while she was in law school, what is the whole 6-foot rule, and she and a friend from law school as well, and her husband, we all went to the Mons Venus.
Just for investigative research purposes is what it sounds like.
Yes.
So we're walking into the Mons Venus because Michelle wanted to do research and see what is the 6-foot rule. What's going on with these lap dances and everything. So, and by the way, this was 1999 or 2000 when we're walking in. Guess who was walking out? Remember Tom Rivers, the morning guy from QIK?
No.
Yeah.
He was walking out. He was one of the nicest guys, by the way.
Tommy's a legend.
Hey, QIK morning guys, my history with those guys, between Dave McKay and Tom, both great guys.
Yeah.
Both really cool guys.
For sure.
So you're not going to believe what happened at Mons Venus. And the story just came out yesterday. Apparently, some maniac in a red devil mask tried to walk into the Mons Venus at 1:15 in the morning, early Sunday morning, with a gun, and authorities think, Tampa PD thinks, that this guy was going to shoot up the place at 1:15 in the morning. This is absolutely insane. If you don't know about this, we potentially had a mass shooting at the Mons Venus averted because the door bouncer knew something was wrong, jumped into action. Then 2 other bouncers helped hold the guy down on the ground. This dude had a gun in his hand. He was walking into the Mons Venus with a red devil mask on. And then he had all kinds of, scary crap written on his arms. And I'll talk about this here in a second. So the security guard, his name is Manny Resto. And he used to be a professional wrestler. He's been working for 30 years as a security guard. And he was at the front door at Mons Venus. And here comes a guy with a red devil mask on. And he knew something was wrong. Resto is 54 years old. He thought somebody was playing a joke on him. The guy tries to get inside. And then he sees the guy with a gun in his hand. The guy with the gun and the red devil mask, Michael Rudman, 44 years old, shows up in a silver pickup truck roughly 1:15 early on Sunday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Gets out of the truck, has his little devil mask on. He's got a gun in one hand, a flashlight in his other hand. And I mentioned that he had really spooky crap written on his arms.
Right.
On his arms, in some type of a marker, the words kill and dark one, DARKKONE, on his arms, according to TPD in their press release.
Those might be indications of something.
Jeez, man. This dude was heading in to shoot up Mons Venus. There were 200 people in the club at 1:15 in the morning.
Oh, my God.
According to authorities.
That place is always packed.
It's Saturday night, Sunday morning. It's the night to be out. Of course it's going to be packed.
God.
MJ, is there any word on how many rounds he had on him? Did he have extra clips? You hear of these mass shootings?
The guy had knives and extra ammunition in the vehicle. Hold on. Let me give you the details here, because I put together all the facts from the Tampa police report and the press conference they held yesterday. So Resto immediately tries to stop the guy and wrestles him to the ground. Now, also, interestingly, we took a call when we mentioned this at about 6:30 this morning. We had a guy call in, and he said that he heard gunshots from across the street. This dude that called us this morning worked across the street. And I'm like, oh, so you work at the 2001 strip club? He says, no comment.
Right.
So I've got an audio bite from the phone call we took earlier this morning. So Resto, the bouncer, he starts to grab the guy and tries to take him to the ground. This guy's got a red devil mask on. It looks like, did he have knee pads on and shin guards? Look at him.
Yeah, he's got something.
It looks like he's
on.
got shin guards strapped onto his legs.
Man, he was ready for battle.
He's ready to fight.
Now, the perp in the red devil mask, they said he's like 330 pounds and like 6'3".
Jeez.
Oh, the guy's huge. The dude that tried to go in with the gun to Mons Venus was a mountain.
The security guards are heroes.
And the security guard is big himself. And they're trying to take the guy down. So the gun, he wrestles the gun out of the guy's, the gun's dropped. During the melee, the gun's dropped. Now, a gunshot went off. And I'll play the audio of the caller that called us earlier today. So Resto, the bouncer, is trying to wrestle this Rudman guy to the ground. And then a cashier at the front knew there was a problem, called for the other bouncers to rush. So 2 other bouncers rush and then hold the guy down. Now, if you see, it could have gotten dangerous.
So Resto goes straight for the gun. He doesn't tackle the guy. He doesn't punch the guy. He goes for the gun.
Resto grabs the gun. Then Resto, the bouncer, is holding the gun on the guy, but the guy is able to then take the gun back. Then the gun ends up on the ground, but it got scary because the bad guy almost got the gun back to use.
You know what's scary to think about? What if the guy hadn't had a red devil mask on? What if he just tried to stroll in like a normal customer?
Yeah. No, that is a very good point.
With a more concealed weapon, not like...
It was the red devil mask that alerted the bouncer at the door at Mons Venus that something's freaking wrong here. But also, and you'll hear this in the phone call, I believe, the caller said that they were warned by TPD to be on the lookout for anyone carrying a flashlight or a cell phone flashlight, aiming the light at the security cameras. And guess what? Exactly what the red devil mask guy did. This guy was, as he was walking to the front door of Mons Venus, he was holding a flashlight backward, aiming it right at the security camera to try to blind the security camera from seeing who he was with the light from the flashlight. I mean, this is an unbelievable story.
It's pretty smart, you know. It's better than the old shaving cream. Remember the old days?
I mean, that would have been a dead giveaway that he's going to do something suspicious, putting shaving cream on a camera.
So Resto, the bouncer, picks up the gun. He ends up pointing it at Rudman, but then Rudman rushes back to try to grab the gun. The gun ends up on the ground. A shot was discharged. So a gunshot did go off, and it hit the front door. Luckily, it didn't hit anyone. So no one inside the club was injured. This is just insane. Now, the perp, the individual that's been arrested, is this Michael Rudman, and he's been arrested before. He had charges of in the past. He had, I guess, some battery charges, some domestic issues.
He's not a good guy.
There's a report that he has a history of domestic violence, mental health problems. He was previously Baker acted in Florida. Guys, this could have gone really, really bad. Yeah. The Tampa Bay area could have been on the national news for a mass shooting inside the Mons Venus that was clearly thwarted. And you were asking about whether he had additional ammo. According to TPD, at the press conference yesterday, Burkall, who's the acting chief of police after the Mary situation, he said that there were 9 knives in the truck, and they also found 2 fully loaded magazines in his pocket. So he had the handgun with, I would imagine, a fully loaded magazine, and he had 2 additional fully loaded magazines in his pocket so he could drop the mag, reload. So, 10, 12, 15-round mags, he could have gotten, maybe up to 45 shots off in that place in Mons Venus. All right, here's some of the audio that I want you to listen to here. And again, I cannot believe we had a major, major situation averted by these bouncers and Resto who initially tackled this guy. This is amazing. All right, here's the security guard. This is Manny Resto, the initial front door bouncer at Mons Venus.
I decided that he was not going to enter the club and hurt anybody.
Wow, you made the right call there, pal.
And I noticed the devil mask, and I was like, okay, it's not Halloween. Maybe it's some type of trick or a gag,
Nope. All right, here's more Resto.
I wasn't going to let this happen. I was not going to let him win. He was not going to hurt nobody.
Good call. Heroic.
A lot of things are fuzzy because I got hit in the head quite a few times by the gun, and he also had a flashlight as well in the other hand.
All right, here's more.
I saw him raise his hand, and he had a gun.
And then this is a clip from Fox 13. They interviewed him after the presser.
I went for the gun. I was concentrating on the gun.
And that was the right thing to do. It got a little scary, though, because he did get the gun, and then Devil Mask, Maniac Man, rushed toward him and grabbed the gun back. And then the gun ends up on the ground, and there was a round discharged. Then here is one of the other security guards that rushed to assist Resto, who first made contact.
He had over 500 pounds on him, and he was still moving.
So you had 2 bouncers on top of him, then a third one arrives, and this guy is still trying to get up with 500 pounds on top of him. Here are a couple of clips. This is the interim Tampa police chief, Lee Burkall, commenting yesterday at the presser.
First thing that came to my mind is what happened in Orlando at Pulse. And having these 2 here to take that heroic action, could they have prevented something like that? I definitely think so. And the officers at the scene actually said that he was so incoherent that he couldn't speak.
Insane. More of Burkall.
There's no question in my mind that had it not been for the brave men you see standing next to me, that we could have been here discussing a mass shooting in the city of Tampa.
In Mons Venus, 1:15 in the morning on Sunday morning. And what's also incredible, how long it took for the story to get out. The story did not come to light until yesterday afternoon.
So all day Sunday, all day Monday, and then half the day yesterday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Wow.
Before the story came out. Absolutely incredible. We took a call again, and we've got phone callers that are calling in. If you want to, if you have anything to add to this, we have a dancer. We've got a dancer that was at Mons. All right, tell her I'll be right there. If you want to weigh in, any thoughts on this, any observations, 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047 gets you in on the MJ Morning Show. All right, tell Go-Go that it says Go-Go on the screen. So we'll talk to Go-Go the dancer in just a minute. But this is an audio bite. We had a caller when we talked about this at 6 o'clock this morning when we first came on, who was working across the street, and we think at the other strip club, the 2001. Listen to this from earlier today on the MJ Morning Show.
I work across the street. I was actually across the street when it all happened. Everything goes down. The altercation happens out front. You hear a couple shots. There was definitely shots fired. I assume that everyone was okay. You'll hear it more from the police report, I assume. But they told us that it's a tactic now where people are using cell phone lights or flashlights to block the security cameras as they're walking into the entrance. And that's pretty much all the other info I got. That's all they would release to us. You know, they told us just to keep on the lookout for people with walking in, you know, with flashlights faced toward the rear, toward cameras. Things of that nature.
And the guy in the devil mask was pointing a flashlight right at the security camera at Mons Venus. Exactly what he just said. You can see it on the surveillance. Andrew, have we put the surveillance video up on our website? All right, if you want to see the altercation with the gun, everything, the guy getting tackled, it's all on video from the Mons Venus security camera, and it is on our website. If you go to mjmorningshow.com, that's mjmorningshow.com, and click on videos mentioned on the show. Hi, Go-Go in Tampa. Welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hi, I listen to you like every morning.
Thank you so much. Were you at Mons Venus at 1:15 on Sunday morning?
I was. I'm there every Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, my. So you're there every Friday and Saturday. Go-Go, what is going through your head knowing that this maniac almost got into the club and was probably going to open fire?
It was crazy. Honestly, like, we heard like a pop, and it sounded like one of those fake, like popper guns.
Yep.
And everybody just kind of like ran and scattered and like hid, and like girls were like freaking out. And I wasn't freaking out at the time because I knew something didn't happen inside the club, but I just didn't realize the magnitude of it until like I saw like the video and everything like that. But like it was pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Everyone in that club, they said there were about 200 customers in the club, and this guy was headed in with a gun that was loaded and 2 additional magazines of ammo in his pocket. And, I mean, you got to be thrilled with what the first bouncer, what Manny Resto did to protect the customers and the employees inside.
Manny is so awesome. He's the one that, like, well, Manny and Dan, they walk us to our cars.
Aww.
Had Manny been walking a girl to the car, like he walks us to our cars, had he been away from the front door, things would have been completely different.
Oh my
right now.
So Manny's
God.
a badass.
That you know,
Manny is a badass.
that is amazing. And I know that's the case. I've heard about this in the past, that, you know, a dancer leaving for the night needs assistance getting to their car,
Right.
so they're not like harassed or followed into the parking lot by, you know, some creep. And if, you know, I think this will change procedure that
somebody always has to be at the door.
Exactly. That if a dancer has walked to their car in the parking lot, that a bouncer can never leave the front door. I'm guessing that's going to be a new policy from now on.
I'm hoping. I mean, we don't really want people down, but I think that that's probably going to come after this. But, yeah, I mean, I'm telling you right now, the guy pulled up in the truck. It was already running. He walked straight to the door. He knew what he was doing. He wanted to do that. Had Manny not been right where he was at, I mean, this would be a whole different story right now.
So, Go-Go,
I might not be here.
Is there another security personnel inside the door next to the person working the front end?
We have 2 other security guards, and, like, one of them kind of hangs out at the door, but sometimes, you know, there's 2 things going on in the club because there's so many people. It was shoulder-to-shoulder packed, like, Saturday night during that time.
Yep.
So, like, I mean, sometimes one's got to be in the dressing room with the girls dealing with something, and one's out on the floor, but not exactly right at the door. So, I mean, it's give or take, you know what I mean? But usually somebody's, like, at the door, but usually somebody's right outside the door as well.
Go-Go, how old are you?
I don't want to say.
Okay, all right.
I'm older, but I look really young. Let's just say that.
I'm just amazed. We've got such a wide audience for us to be talking about this and to have an adult entertainer, to have a dancer that was inside Mons Venus Saturday night into Sunday morning at 1:15 when this happened, to be listening and to call us up and say, hey, MJ, I love you. I listen every morning, and I was in the club.
I listen every morning. I
Oh.
take my son to school, and, you guys are literally the best, and I love the music on this channel. So,
Listen, Go-Go, I appreciate you calling in. I'm glad you're safe, and the other customers. You said it was shoulder to shoulder. The club was packed when this guy was
Yes.
trying to walk in with the gun.
yeah, shoulder to shoulder packed. And Friday was not that packed, but Saturday usually gets a little more lit. And, it was wild. The guys had to leave out the dressing room, and they're not allowed back there usually, but all of the guys trampled in the dressing room and, went out the back door.
Wow. Anyway, Go-Go, thank you for calling in. Thanks for listening, and say hi to your son for us, okay?
Thank you. I will.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Incredible.
Go-Go. That's a good stripper name.
Go-Go right inside the club when this all went down. Let me grab David in St. Pete, and then we got to move on. I got some other things we got to get to. Roxanne, yes? It's
No.
like you're on the edge of your seat
No,
over
I was
here.
just I'm just happy. I'm just amazed by, the people who call the show. It's awesome.
David in St. Pete, MJ Morning Show, you're up. Hi.
Hey, how you doing today, guys?
Doing well.
Good.
I used to work at a place called Daddy-O's a long time ago in Ocala, and we used to use a wand on people before they even came in. And a lot of people didn't like it, but, if you had any kind of weapon on you, we didn't allow you. You can go put it in your car or whatever.
So you would use like the Garrett metal detector wand? Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
That thing?
Yeah, I think that'd probably be the best thing. I mean, back when I was working there, man, was way back in, the early 90s. And I think today they should have that, just for the simple fact, because, if you ain't got nothing to hide, why would you want to be wanded? But why come in there and risk people's lives? I mean, I think they should do that.
I mean, yeah, there was no metal detector, nothing like that. I mean, just walking in, pay your cover charge, and there you go.
That might change as well. Hey, David, thanks for the call. What a crazy story. And the Tampa Bay area might have been on the national and worldwide news for a whole different thing on this week, or on Sunday and Monday if there were a shooting. And it sounds like it got very close to some type of mass shooting in there. That is crazy. All right, moving along here on the... you know what happened to me this morning?
What?
I hit my garage door button and boing! Spring breaks.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, have you had the coil? You had the big garage... You know what I'm talking about? The front of the garage door, you have that huge metal spring that adds the tension.
Wait, your spring broke on spring break?
And your chair spring broke, too.
That's
crazy.
That is a good point.
Oh, my God.
Holy cow. Of all the times.
My spring broke on spring break. It did.
It's the perfect time to happen.
What if he waits till Labor Day to have it repaired?
What's the third thing that's going to break, MJ? Because your chair broke and your garage broke. So what's next?
Folks, if you didn't see my chair collapse, I'm sitting in my home studio and my chair disintegrated under me. My cheap Wayfair disposable furniture chair. Michelle bought like a little writing table and a chair set for Chloe when we were up in New York. And it just happened when we came back and I set up my home studio. The writing desk was perfect for my little radio console and for my home studio. And there was a matching chair and the freaking chair collapsed. If you want to see the collapsed chair, the picture is on my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio. Certified MJ Radio, give me a follow. Now, Roxanne, you're right. So the chair broke. Now, I've got to rehook up with a great garage door company. Over the years, I used to do commercials for a couple of the various different garage door repair companies. And, hey, that category's open, folks. You ought to talk. You ought to talk to my clients. You ought to talk to International Diamond Center, the Holland Group, Two College Brothers, Fields BMW, Fields Motor Cars for Mercedes-Benz, Kemp Rouge and Green, Zero Res, Weather-Tight Windows.
Hey, I had Plan BAC out at the house just recently doing some maintenance for me.
Plan BAC. You ought to talk to my clients and hear the response and the results that they get from me doing their live commercials. But I ought to have the garage door repair category filled. So if you're one of the big garage door companies in town, email me because I ought to be doing your commercials, and I also need a spring fixed in my garage, which just busted at 5:22 this morning.
Or if you're one of the big taco places, we have an opening in the taco segment.
And I've got a warning about waxing your nostrils.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Well, hold on. Hold on to that thought, folks. Yeah, what do you say?
You just pluck
them. Oh, I thought you said something else.
Have you ever?
I thought you said something.
You just pull those things out.
I got roped into waxing my nostrils one time.
No, hold on. Hang on a minute.
It hurts my nose just hearing this.
Do you know what it looked like? Oh my God.
We have got to talk about nostril waxing, ladies and gentlemen, next on the MJ Morning Show, and a whole lot more. Oh, did you hear what happened with Nick Lache?
Yeah.
That was great.
What happened to Nick Lache?
He's in trouble.
Oh, you don't know what happened to
trouble.
Nick? He was 98 degrees, right?
He flew off
he's
the
married
handle.
to Vanessa Manillo.
Hang on. Nick Lache, almost like he could have been showed up in Mons Venus or something. All right, hang on. So if you don't know about nostril waxing and Nick Lache and a whole lot more, stand by. We'll get to it all next here on the MJ Morning Show and Q105. All right. What?
Jesus, blow my brains out with that pitch.
I'm just exhausted.
She
it's a
hit
car
some,
alarm.
You know, she hit some very high notes at the end of that song.
It's exhausting
Well,
to hear
you
every
heard
day.
it broke a window in the studio. Did you hear that?
It blew out the window.
I think there's also going to be a delayed effect. Oh,
there goes the other one.
It's like a sonic boom.
That's delayed. All right.
I never want to hear that song again in my life.
Froggy, maybe you shouldn't say that.
Sorry. I love it. I mean, I love it.
Don't listen tomorrow.
It is the MJ Morning Show on Q105. It is 8:56. That means we're about to open up the ticket window in just a matter of minutes. Between 9 a.m. and 9:15. So in the next few minutes, between 9 and 9:15, we're going to let you call in, be the right caller, and then pick your ticket. We've got Duran Duran tickets, Bryan Adams with Joan Jett tickets, and Kenny Loggins concert tickets. And you'll be able to call up and pick the ticket that you want in minutes between 9 and 9:15 here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Now, Fester, did you say that you once got your nostrils waxed?
Yeah, a friend of mine opened up a waxing center. And they're like, hey, you should come to our grand opening of our waxing center.
Fester,
Is that how he talks?
Yeah,
Fester,
that's exactly how he talks.
Get your back waxed because
No.
you're gorilla-like, but you don't wax your nostrils.
So I told him, I was like, listen, I'll give you
Yeah.
a choice of what you can wax. Because he wanted to do my back. And I told him no. He goes, what do you want waxed? I said, I'll give you a choice. He goes, what? I said, heads or tails. And he's like, oh, dude, I'll take heads all day.
Yeah, really.
And he said, do you want your ear? He did my ears. He waxed like all the ear hair off the side of my ear and off like the little ear flappy thing, right? And then he goes, let me do your nostrils.
No. That's why I'm bringing this up. Do not get your nostrils waxed. And some people, they think that let's get rid of this unsightly hair. If you've got visible nose hair, guess what? You can like snip it and trim it. If you got like a hair coming out of your nose, like it's a fishing line, just clip the thing. You don't want to wax. You know, those hairs are there for a reason. They're there to protect you and your lungs.
So he took like one of those wooden Q-tips and dipped it into wax.
That's what they do. It's the little wooden popsicle stick that they dip in, and then they jam it all in, let it cool, and then they rip the sucker right out.
He put one in each nostril, and then he squeezed my nose for a second. He's like, all right, dude, count to 3. I'm like, all right, 1, 2, and then at 2. I'm like, yeah. And
Kelly Clarkson!
It didn't hurt nearly as bad as I thought it would, but it looked like 2 fat dead caterpillars on the end of these sticks. Yeah,
It looked like, wait a minute. It looked like the guy from Schitt's Creek's eyebrows.
Eugene Levy.
Eugene Levy came out of Fester's nostrils.
I'm like, oh my God, I have that much hair in my nose? He's like, yeah, dude, you're going to.
I loved you in American Pie.
Okay, so looking at your nose, Fester.
Yes.
Some people have nostrils that flare quite a bit, and you can see a circle of like nostril hair in the inside.
Yeah.
But Fester, your bulbs of your nose come down far enough. You're not going to need to wax because you don't see all up in your nose a lot.
I didn't know at the time. I didn't know. I was just trying
But
to be one of
some
the cool
people
kids.
have nostrils pointing down.
Yes.
Some have nostrils that kind of face more at you.
Yes.
And listen, if you have hair that bothers you, you don't want to take all the hair out. Let me give you the science behind this whole. I'm having a conniption over here, folks.
You could have dreadlocked my grandfather's nose hair.
Ew.
I mean,
I'm
my
sure-
grandfather had the thickest, blackest nose hair.
I'm sure he had black ear hair coming out. Everything. So, Festa, look at your back hair.
Yeah.
You want to show that to the camera?
I'll show. I got other hair I want to show to the camera.
That's okay. But here's the deal. People and vanity and everyone wants to, get rid of unwanted, unsightly hair. But the problem is that nose hairs actually do a very important job. So for cosmetic reasons, just to get your nose hairs waxed out, that is a mistake. Don't do it. You can snip it. You can trim them if they're too long. But the problem is that when you get the little wooden stick with the dab of the soft hot wax, and then they rip it out. The problem is that it could result in health issues because it's a filter. Nasal hairs are important. They play a very important role in our lung health, our overall health. Nasal hair is like the air filter for your lungs. It lets fresh oxygen in while keeping dirt, bacteria, and toxins out, according to Dr. Max Malik. He's the medical director and co-founder of the Cosmetics Clinic. Previously mentioned that this can be particularly important for the respiratory health for those with asthma or people who smoke. So do not wax. What's going on?
Roxanne actually just got up to wax her nose hair.
All this
Are you okay? What?
She's getting choked up while you're talking about
Roxanne, what's the matter?
She's choking water.
Just, are you all right?
She's choking on water.
Roxanne is running out of the studio.
Let her go. Let her
Went
go.
down the wrong pipe.
But where's she's not going to the bathroom or the kitchen. Where's she
I
going?
think she's puking in the
I think
hallway.
she's gonna vomit, and I don't know.
Roxanne just ran out with some kind of distress.
Roxanne has like a Yeti cup with like a mystery liquid in it, and she's been
mystery.
I think it's vodka.
I don't know if it's green tea. I don't know.
I think it's Kettle One.
So,
You know, she talks about her friend Kettle. Yeah, that's her friend
That's
Kettle
her
right there. It's a Kettle One.
That's hysterical. Every time she mentions it, we just figured out that your friend Kettle is the vodka.
It's Kettle One, it's Kettle One. It's what it is.
Everyone needs a friend.
What
like
just
Kel.
happened to you, and where did you go?
You guys have had this before. This is like the tickle in your uvula. You were talking all that nostril hair and respiratory issues, and I was picturing inhaling nostril hair.
Yeah,
like I had
sometimes-
one in my throat, and I just couldn't stop coughing. It was a coughing fit.
Sometimes your little, what is it called, the fallopian back there?
No, it's not. That's not the full.
Yes.
It's not.
It's the uterus.
Uvula.
That's it, uvula.
The uvula is the punching bag that hangs down at the back of the throat. But anyway, don't wax your nasal hair. If you want to trim them, you can. I guess you can do that. But they serve a purpose. They're filters, just like you have the air conditioning filter. Look at your air conditioning system. When you change your filter out, you pull the filter, and it's got all kinds of dust and grime and all kinds of crap in there. That's what the nose hairs do.
Dude, Kenny from Plan BAC just sent me a text. He said your nose hair is like your air conditioning filter.
Give me his number.
That's awesome.
Give me his number. Let me get Kenny from Plan BAC. What is it?
Hold on. Let me pull it up here.
I have it too. Hang on. Let me see what it is. Hang on. 813. All right. He's 100% right. I just said what he just texted Fester. So I guess he knows Fester's cell number is 813-310-8444. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
neighbors playing B. This is Jason. How can I help you?
Oh, I'm trying to get. Where's Kenny?
Excuse me?
Is this Kenny?
Hey, it's the MJ Fester. I thought that was Kenny's cell number.
It is. I've been texting back and forth
Is this
with
Kenny?
Hang on, they hung up. All right, so we called the office instead of Kenny's cell phone.
That's how I get all the Kenny. I don't know. It's what's in my phone. But listen, you're exactly right.
But he's right.
Your nose hair is just like your air conditioning filter to clean what goes in.
Exactly.
Well, I have an important question.
Sure.
If nose hair is destined to be on your body and you shouldn't take it out, what about the rest of the hair that we remove? Is that there for some very important reason?
No, it's not there for filtration.
Ew.
And for the
No,
record,
I mean, I'm just talking about like leg hair.
Yeah, I'm all for leaving.
armpits.
No, that hair is not filtering crap from going into your lungs. Unless you're a contortionist or something, and I don't know, maybe your toes are in your nostrils or whatever.
Roxy should grow it all out.
What is the purpose of it? If we don't need it, why does armpit hair come out?
I think back when we were living like, in caves.
Right.
It was like for a
That was
source of
more-
warmth,
more-
maybe?
yes.
Kenny's calling us.
Okay.
Hey, Kenny, MJ Morning Show.
How's it going, MJ?
Hey, we just tried to call you. Did we call the office?
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. That's the number I had in my phone. No, Kenny, your nose hair is just like the air conditioning filter in your house, right?
That's correct. Yes.
It cleans
100%.
cleans everything that goes in.
I thought that my example was spot on because as I was saying that look at your air conditioning filter when you change it out and all the filth and all the dust and all the stuff that's collected. And if you wax your nose hair, you're allowing all that crap to go in. Your nose hair keeps that stuff out. It's your natural filter.
Right. That's exactly right. 100%.
All right, buddy, man. I'll tell you what, folks, this is Kenny, the owner of Plan B Air Conditioning. And, dude, I get email from you regarding you guys all the time. We've got so many listeners that have used Plan B Air Conditioning, and they love what you guys do.
Thank you. We strive for excellence. Definitely do.
If you're looking for a great air conditioning company, system's broken, new system. I had a story where I got and you probably heard me do this in the commercial, Kenny. I got an email in the last month where someone said that They called another air conditioning company that they'd used prior, and they said, you need a new system, like $6,000. And they heard me do the Plan B air conditioning commercial for your company. They called you up. You guys went out, and it was $600 to fix the system. The person saved $5,400 by calling Plan B AC.
Yeah, we got 5 referrals just from that person.
That's amazing.
And 5 referrals. That is incredible. Hey, Kenny, great to talk to you, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so Plan B AC. Go to planbairconditioning.com or 813-PLAN-BAC is the phone number for Plan B Air Conditioning. Plan B AC. What the website is planbairconditioning.com. Yeah, I was conflating the phone number with the website, but planbairconditioning.com.
So last year during spring break, we went on the cruise, and that's when I shut my AC off and it completely died.
That's right.
So Kenny came out and put in a whole brand new unit.
Yeah,
so I just had Plan B out for the 1 year maintenance.
You had a 20-year-old system?
25.
Yeah. And then Fester turned the whole thing off, and when he came back from the cruise,
house was like 98 degrees.
And it wouldn't fire back up. Ooh. And then Kenny said, it is time for a new system. So Kenny put in a whole new system in Fester's house. And how lovely is your house now?
It's like I live in the Arctic. Is that right? Arctic?
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
When it's hot outside, Fester can make his home like the Arctic.
That C and the T just don't.
Arctic. The Arctic.
Yeah, it is a tough one.
The Arctic Ocean.
Speaking of 98 degrees, Lache.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and then
nice.
in minutes, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the window. I said between 9 and 9:15, we're letting you pick your ticket for Duran Duran, Bryan Adams with Joan Jett, and Kenny Loggins. So within this window, by 9:15, I'll tell you when to call in. First, though, what the hell is going on with Nick Lache?
Dude, I've been sitting here trying to think of a 98 degree song, and I cannot think of one.
That's it. Andrew was in the back looking for like 98 degrees, the biggest hits.
Okay, I remember this.
But you do know Jessica Simpson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That's really when he shot to the moon, right?
So that's, because of you, that's a 98 degrees song involving Nick Lache and...
I remember that one.
Listen, 98 degrees, nowhere near as big as NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys.
So Nick Lache, MJ, I don't know if you can appreciate what a diverse and talented career he's had. 98 degrees, which is a great career by itself, I guess. Then marries Jessica Simpson and has that reality show where that kind of went to hell. That relationship didn't work out. Then he gets with Vanessa Manillo, Vanessa Lache now. And now he's super big. His career is bigger now than ever because of all the Netflix shows he hosts. Love is Blind 2.
Well, guess
he's
what?
on Netflix all the time.
Nick Lache has now been ordered into anger management and Alcoholics Anonymous for attacking a paparazzo.
Dude, that's going to be a new Netflix show.
Attacking a paparazzo?
Nick Lache, AA meetings.
Is that 1 season or 2 seasons? What? So Nick Lache has been ordered to go into anger management classes, has to go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings because he attacked a member of the paparazzi. Police records, which Page 6 got a hold of, show that Nick Lache was charged with assault and battery against Jody Santos a year ago, March of 2022, but didn't receive any formal punishment until the photographer kept hassling the Beverly Hills cops for months. Mr. Lache has not been charged with misdemeanor assault and battery. Instead, he's participating in the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office's pre-filing diversion program, which was established in 2017. That's what the L.A. County District Attorney's Office said in a statement yesterday. As part of these conditions, he must participate in anger management classes and attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. Successful completion of the pre-filing diversion program will result in no criminal charges being filed. So what happened? Let me give you the details. On March 27th of 2022, Santos, who was a paparazzo, spotted Lache and his wife, Vanessa Lache, leaving a restaurant called Mastro's in Beverly Hills. Fester, can you open up a new window? Can you tell me what the Google rating is on Mastros?
Oh, Mastros is good. There's one in
Maestros?
Chicago. I've been to the one in Chicago.
So
Mastros, Beverly Hills. We want to put our meat in your mouth, right?
Close. I think that's it.
I think
They
that's
used
their jingle. All right, so he spotted the paparazzo sitting in her car. So this is even a female paparazzo. This is not one of the grimy, like oily male paparazzos. This is a female.
Yeah, it's one of the grimy, oily female ones.
Yeah.
So it has a 4.4 rating. It's pretty highly rated.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So he sees this woman, the paparazzo across the street, taking photos. And Nicholas Shea went nuts, runs over to the car, tries to grab her camera and her phone through the passenger window. Other paparazzo got photos of him trying to do this.
It's a clear picture. The photo that got him with his it's like a Toyota or a Kia. He has his whole arm in the window.
Oh yeah,
you can't do that.
That's burglary. You know, if you stick, technically the legal definition of if you stick your arm inside a car, that is considered burglary. Just not even taking anything, just sticking your arm in a conveyance or whatever they call it, whatever the legal mumbo jumbo is. So listen to this quote from the paparazzo lady. In all my years of photographing celebrities, no one has ever tried to hit me, said Santos, who was the first one to report the news. She added that she tried to roll up the window as fast as she could. I thought he was going to break his hand. That's how hard he was hitting the glass.
Oh, come on now. This is a paparazzo dream.
He then started punching the window. I thought he was going to break his hand. That's how hard he was hitting the glass. I'm surprised he didn't shatter the window. Santos said, no doubt Nick would have knocked her out had she not raised her window in a timely fashion.
Man, he must have been really hot.
Then is his arm bent in this picture? Is he not reaching it? Because the photo I'm looking at looks like his arm is in the car. But if she says the window is up and he didn't reach in and grab her.
No. She finally got the window up. So apparently his arm was already in the window at some point.
She got a little dig on him when she was talking about it because she said, Nick's not really on the radar. I just saw him and figured I'd get a shot of a couple coming out of the restaurant.
Listen, paparazzo
He's
makes your
not.
living. He's a pretty big guy right now.
He hosts one Netflix show. He's a bum.
Two Netflix shows.
And then it gave him the Stone Cold Steve Austin double barrel fingers when he was walking away.
So that's the Nick Lachey deal. Nick Lachey is in a diversionary program to avoid, I guess, being formally arrested or arraigned or whatever you want to say.
Have you ever known anybody that's gone to anger management courses?
I have not.
What a lame meeting that must be. Just really, everything's really calm.
Man, him and Jessica are all messed up.
Jessica?
I was going to ask for phone calls right now if anyone's ever been to anger management, but I got to give away the tickets. It's 9:13. So let's do it. Let's let you pick your ticket right now. Let's go with caller number 20. Caller 20. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Caller 20 right now. You get to pick your ticket. You want to see Duran Duran June 17th at Amalie. You want to see Bryan Adams with Joan Jett June 21st at Amalie. You want to see Kenny Loggins September 16th at the Sound in Clearwater. Pick your ticket right now. Caller 20 800-990-1047. Fire it up. We have finally communication. Remember the weather lady from KCBS out in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
That collapsed last Saturday morning?
Very scary video.
So they're coming on the air at 7 a.m. L.A. time, and it's the Saturday morning news on KCAL television, and it's owned also by CBS. So it's KCBS, KCAL. And the meteorologist from KCBS was doing the weather on the KCAL morning show. And at 7 o'clock, the anchors are like, hey, everybody, it's great to have you along. And the weather. And let's go right to they go to the weather center, and the meteorologist, Alyssa Carlson Schwartz, her eyes roll back in her head, and she collapses on the weather desk. And then she falls down on the floor. They got to quickly go to commercial. If you didn't hear the audio, this is what it sounded like.
Count News at 7 on CBS, streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I'm Rachel Kemp.
And I'm Michelle Medina in for Sheba. Who is ready for some sunshine? I know I am. Let's start off with a check of your next weather with meteorologist Alyssa Carlson. She joins us live in the studio. Alyssa, this really is the calm before the storm.
Not again. No. Oh.
You know, we're going to go ahead and go to break right now.
Yeah. We'll be right.
Yeah, probably a good idea. So, a couple of things there. Oh, no, not again. And then they say the calm before the storm. They were referring to the weather because they were expecting another one of those atmospheric rivers out on the West Coast with all of the rain and the wind. But the oh, no, not again, it seemed to fit with she's collapsing because she's collapsed on the air in the past. And then, what was it? Oh, no, not again. And what was the other thing?
Oh, no.
Was she narcoleptic or something?
No, she's addressed this.
They were saying the calm before the storm, but if the first nanosecond of her before she rolls her eyes back in her head, but when she first kind of leans in and something's not right, in that first little nanosecond, if you were observing her in the room, if you were one of those anchors, you might just think that was a body language gesture of like, not this bad weather again.
Rolling their eyes. No, her eyes roll back and she collapses.
Not again. No.
Well, they aren't paying attention to her necessarily as much as they are trying to look into the camera.
Well, she has spoken. The CBS Los Angeles weatherwoman, Alyssa Carlson Schwartz, told colleagues yesterday that she suffers from vasovagal,
I think.
Syncope. Is that it?
Yeah, I have it.
That's the most complicated name for a disease ever.
Hold on, you have that as well?
I've got it under control, but yeah, I had it and my daughter had it.
It affects 1/3 of the population.
What is it called?
Is it a heart valve situation?
No,
or
it's not a heart valve
situation.
What is it? It has to do with nerves, and when certain things are triggers for it. Like some people have vasovagal reaction when they throw up.
Vasovagal. So apparently she has this ailment, and that's what caused her to collapse live on TV. Her eyes rolled back. She slumped. Then she falls on the floor. The video's crazy. She was hospitalized with a head injury. Went back to the station a couple of days later.
It's when your body overreacts to certain conditions. Yep. Like if you see blood, I used to do that. Like if I had to give blood, get my finger pricked.
Like you'd faint or something?
Yep.
Or?
Vasovagal, is it syncope? SYNCOPE.
Syncope.
Occurs when one's body overreacts to certain triggers like sight of blood, extreme emotional distress, often triggered by a sudden drop in heart rate and blood pressure, which leads to reduced blood flow to the brain. So she says, she also revealed that her leaky heart valve, which she was diagnosed with after suffering a similar scary episode in 2014. She's fainted on other TV sets, like in other cities.
Jeez.
She's like the fainting goat of weather ladies. Mm-hmm. So I wish her the best, and she's okay. So that's great. And I put caller 20 on hold here a few moments ago, so let me pick that up. Hi, good morning. Who's this?
Hi, this is Jamie.
Jamie? You are caller 20, Jamie.
Wow, awesome. Thank you.
You win, but you just got to pick your ticket now. It's the MJ Morning Show ticket window, and the window is between 9 and 9:15. You called in. You're caller 20, so you get to choose now. You want to see Duran Duran June 17th at Amalie, Bryan Adams with Joan Jett June 21st at Amalie, or Kenny Loggins in September at the Sound in Clearwater. What's your ticket?
Bryan Adams and Joan Jett.
You got it. You're in. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. It sounds like you're at work.
On my way, yes.
All right. Fantastic. Hey, do you listen to us every morning?
Sure do.
I highly appreciate it. And where are you calling from?
I am currently in the Newport Richey area.
Excellent. Jamie and NPR. Thank you, Jamie. Hold on. We're going to get all your information, and thanks for listening.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Hold on a second. Andrew, I've got her on line 1. Line 1 happened to be caller 20. So congratulations. Hey, did you hear about the guys that busted out of jail in my former stomping grounds?
I would do the same thing.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Well, I have an alert on my phone for that particular establishment. So I wasn't looking necessarily for the jailbreak as much as I was the food aspect of it. But yes.
This is crazy. Couple of guys bust out of jail. They bust a hole in the wall And guess where they go? They bust out of jail. They go right to this place. You're not going to believe the story. Hang on. That and 12 red flags that indicate you shouldn't go to a particular food truck.
Oh, man. Me and food trucks have a complicated relationship.
I got a little issue with this, and I'll explain in a minute. So we're loaded. Final chunk of the MJ Morning Show is next. So don't move. We're back in minutes here on Q105. You have also a relationship with like stains on your shirt, stains on your carpet. Oh, are you about ready for zero res? Do I got to place another call for you or what? wheel of a car?
Right.
Really?
So he's a clutch, all those years falling over that coffee table.
Oh, that's. I think it was an ottoman, actually. Yeah, I think it was an ottoman.
So did Dick Van Dyke Van Die?
Dick Van Dyke is 97 years old, and he smashed his car into a gate in Malibu. Yeah, hang on. I'm just reading the TMZ story here that Dick Van Dyke reportedly was injured when he crashed his Lexus in Malibu after losing control behind the wheel. 97-year-old actor's car skidded in wet weather before smashing into a gate early this morning. It happened, left him with a bloody nose and mouth, possible concussion. Dick Van Dyke was behind the wheel of his Lexus LS500, according to TMZ. He was treated at the scene by paramedics. Now, it is wet out there, but should Dick Van Dyke, should he be behind the wheel at 97?
I mean, it depends on his abilities. I mean, he seems like a pretty able-bodied.
I mean, I saw a video of the guy dancing, like doing one of his old dances.
I'm Dick Van Dyke.
Spoonful of Metamucil.
So that's breaking news. Apparently he broke his nose or something. But
Chim chimney, chim chimney,
thank you for Fester Theater over there.
Wow,
I
that was really good, Dick.
Jim, I'm Dick Van Dyke.
I made a note on something that I forgot to mention. So, was it an hour and a half ago? We were talking about the whole Mons Venus thing.
Right.
And the crazy story that developed where there was almost a major incident at Mons Venus, which was averted by the bouncers by tackling a guy that was trying to walk in with a gun. And I forgot, when we went to commercial break, you, Fester, left the room. Froggy, you left the studio. I was left in the studio by... I was left in the studio with Roxanne.
Right.
And this was after we took phone calls and we had the dancer from Mons Venus call up and say, I listen to you guys every day. And she was actually in the club Saturday night into early Sunday morning when the incident took place at Mons Venus. And Roxanne, we go to break, you guys leave, and then Roxanne says to me, and I'm paraphrasing here, tell me if I'm off.
And I'll correct you.
Roxanne says to me, I love strippers.
Yeah.
And then I said, you love strippers?
Not like to go and watch them dance, but
let me finish.
Okay.
Roxanne says, I love strippers. They're like my spirit animal.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Well, like if you have, if I were to say, I don't know what your spirit animal is off the top of my head, MJ, but say you were a dolphin.
What is a spirit animal? I don't
MJ,
even know what it means.
Yeah, like if I said, your spirit animal is a dolphin, then you're like playful and peppy and smart and
hump you.
And overtly sexual.
But you're not. What is a spirit animal?
Spirit animals, you embody qualities of that animal. But in this case, I said...
Fester's spirit animal is a tree sloth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what I would have
picked. Way too quick.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, is a walrus a quick or slow animal? I don't know. I mean,
it depends if they're going after food.
An elephant seal.
Seriously. Yeah. I mean, what's Froggy's spirit animal? What?
A lion.
A dead lion.
What the?
Yeah, so strippers are like, and I'm not saying this, I'm saying this complimentary but they're kind of like slightly damaged, but also really confident. And I feel like they're confident? They get up there and dance with no clothes on. Are you telling me that doesn't take confidence?
It takes a lot of daddy issues.
That's what I just said. Roxanne. Slightly damaged and confident. And something about that resonates with me.
Well, listen, there are strippers that might take exception with the fact that you're saying they're slightly damaged.
Yeah, some of them are really damaged.
Well, no,
I wish I was slightly
wait a minute. And I'm sure there are plenty of strippers that are not damaged at all. Well, listen, I guess every human being is damaged, damaged to a certain extent. But on a very positive note, you say that strippers are your spirit animal, so you want to embody certain aspects of a stripper.
Well, they're fun. They like to perform.
Have you been friends with strippers in the past?
I've certainly gone to school with some. Yeah, there's. This is 2023. We're acting like
in your adult life. Have you hung out with people who do that for a living?
Not currently, but maybe they have in the past.
Do you have any shoes that are like acrylic that can
that your toes get really sweaty and like if they start to grip and slide because you've been dancing all night, just like gripping
Big,
the platform.
giant, like acrylic platform heels. Is that what you're talking about? All right, I got to move on to this jailbreak because Fester has confirmed that if he ever busted out of jail, he would do the exact same thing.
You're in jail for 20 years. What's the first thing you want to do?
This is hysterical. This is out of my former hometown area. I spent many years of my life in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I started my radio career in the Tidewater, Hampton Roads area, southeastern Virginia, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, Newport News, Hampton.
I don't need a whole Eastern Virginia map.
I'm just trying to give some geography here.
I believe you.
Listen to this. 2 Newport News inmates tunneled through their jail cell's wall, escaped on Monday afternoon. They were found hours later at the IHOP.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I mean, just some good food.
Instead of making a run for it, they go to the International House of Prisoners. International House of Pancakes. So, John Michael Garza, 37, and Arlie Vaughn Nemo, 43, were missing during the routine head count at the Newport News jail about 7:15 p.m. on Monday. Jail discovered that they had burrowed through the wall of their cell. I mean, look at the picture. They busted through the bricks. I mean, they busted through, it looks like a foot-thick wall.
This is really a concern if you can get through that wall and just be free.
How the hell did they do it? It looks like they used a small, like...
a rock hammer like Andy Dufresne.
It looked like they used a little explosive device to blow a hole in the wall.
All right, so they made a tool that was fashioned out of a toothbrush.
Out of a toothbrush. So they were able to, apparently, chisel the grout, the mortar in between the bricks out, and pull these bricks out and climb through the jail wall. That's incredible. So they used a toothbrush and some metal object that allowed them to, quote, exploit the construction design weakness in the wall. Yeah, this might not have been the best designed jail, huh? When you can bust out with a small metal object and a toothbrush. My God.
Work and time just for some bacon and eggs.
They dug through the untied rebar between the layer of bricks and cinder blocks, then used the rebar then to dig through the rest of the wall. So they repurposed the construction materials that they hit inside the wall and then used the rebar as further assistance to bust out.
These are some pretty crafty guys.
And then they go to IHOP for some Rooty Tooty fresh and fruity.
Delicious.
When was the last time you were at an IHOP?
It's been a while.
I mean, they got everything on their menu is good. And they got more than just pancakes. They got burgers.
Thank you.
You know,
You can get a salmon thing with some broccoli. I know, I've seen the commercials. No, I don't like I should say I don't dislike IHOP at all. I just haven't been, but you know, we used when the kids were smaller, Michelle would be like, let's take the kids to IHOP. So we used to go to IHOP every once in a while. We've been there. It's just been a while since I've been. Maybe it's time for me to go back to IHOP. Maybe it's time for me to discover IHOP all over again.
Yeah.
Maybe sit next to a prisoner that just broke out of a cell.
Dude, you buy one crepe, you get a second crepe free.
Wow.
Crepe.
Buy one crepe, get one free. It's not a crepe, it's a crepe.
Is that the place with all the syrups?
Yeah, the boysen. I learned what a boysenberry was by going to IHOP as a kid.
They used to have all the different syrups. Now they don't have as many syrups. They had remember they used to have 10 different flavored syrups?
I think it was like 5 or 4 or 5.
Whatever. So Newport News jail staff said the sheriff's office is reviewing and formulating ways to mitigate the weakness in the jail. Good idea. Due to the fact that this weakness presents itself throughout the facility, and until all weaknesses are identified and secured, we will not discuss the situation any further for security reasons. Well, I think the cat's out of the bag that you can dig out of the freaking jail cell and end up at IHOP.
It's the only thing the cons and inmates are talking about right now.
That's it.
That's the only. Hey, you can break through the wall, go to IHOP.
I'm wondering I'm wondering if they had an option, if there was a Denny's nearby. So if they had a choice for the Grand Slam breakfast or the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity. I mean, they picked IHOP. Did they pick IHOP over another establishment?
I'll tell you right now, I'll take IHOP over Denny's 10 days out of 10.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of food.
I'm not mad at Denny's, but IHOP is that's the standard bearer.
Speaking of, also the Waffle House. Don't you like the Waffle House?
I do.
Yeah.
But Waffle House is not as robust as the IHOP. The IHOP is a legit restaurant. Waffle House is waffles and a couple of sandwiches.
12 red flags that indicate that you shouldn't visit that food truck. Now, some of these things, okay, you can see, but I have a problem with the list because some of these things, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll explain. So 12 red flags, before we get out of here today, 12 red flags that you shouldn't visit the food truck. Number one, the staff uses gloves improperly. Well, you can see that. You can probably see if they're wearing gloves or if they're touching money with the gloves, then touching food, or, a lot of times you're swiping a credit card anyway, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Raw meat is incorrectly stored. How the hell do I know if raw meat is being stored incorrectly? I can't see up and over into the food truck to see where the meat is being stored. How would I know that? How would I know that I need to avoid that food truck? Because they're storing the meat incorrectly. Now, if I see it underneath the tire well outside, that might be a problem.
We set this frozen meat on the engine to thaw out.
Yeah.
It'll be ready in a few minutes.
Here's the next one. Avoid the food truck if there are unappetizing smells.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Like if something's rotten. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's your
pretty
senses.
pretty good indication.
Refrigerated ingredients are sitting out. Again, the way food trucks are constructed, a lot of time you can't see in.
Dude, I'll tell you, I think almost every food truck I've ever been to, I try to get myself in the back area and I try to get a peek in there.
Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
What else here? Again, some of these make sense. Some I'm like, huh? Next, food is served at the wrong temperature. Well, I guess if something's supposed to be cold and it's not served cold, or served hot and it's not served hot. So I get that. You don't see a license and the owner can't produce one. Well, do all cities require the food truck to display a license? I don't think so.
I think there's some kind of standard to serve and sell food out of it, right?
And also, I don't know if I've ever gone to a food truck and said, hey, I need to see your license, please.
What are you, the government? Get out of here.
Yes, Andrew.
There is a Denny's 1 block away from the IHOP.
So they chose the IHOP instead of the Denny's. Is that on like Mercury Boulevard or is it on Mercury Boulevard?
Yes.
Mercury Boulevard in Newport News. That's hysterical. And then the other remaining things, little red flags for the food truck. A health inspection is below an A or they hide it. Now, again, not all cities require the display and not all cities give a letter grade. You're up in New York and you see A, B, C. You'll see they also have like a failed. There's another symbol that you'll see in Manhattan as well. And then what else was there? Oh, none of the employees are wearing hats or hairnets. All right, you can see that. You can see if there's any hat or hairnet, and you might end up with a nice long hair in your food, which is certainly not very appealing. And then finally, you can see pests inside the food truck.
Right.
Again, how are
my God.
How are you going to, if you're the customer standing outside, how are you going to see the pests inside the food truck? You're not going to be able to see that. Doesn't make any sense. And then the other thing is, avoid a food truck if it has a ridiculously long menu. And
keep it short, man.
keep it simple because you need turnover. You got a food truck. You don't want to have all kinds of menu items in a food truck which don't turn over.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 sandwiches on the big board.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
That's about it. MJ, we have something we need to talk about, I guess, tomorrow.
Okay, what's
I guess
that?
so. The show's over in like
show's
4
done.
seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
The birthday wishes that you want to have.
All right,
come to
that's a whole big deal, Roxanne. Now's not the time. That's a whole big deal.
Yeah, but I missed one today because of that new edict.
All right. Well, I've got a little internal issue which we'll talk about. I'm coughing. I'm choking over here.
Roxanne just wanted to say edict on the air before we ended. That's all she wanted to do.
I got to roll. We all got to roll. So, folks, have a... you know what? There are 2 other things I missed on the food truck.
The show's over.
Well, I started coughing. First of all, avoid a food truck if the kitchen sink is a mess. How would you know? How am I going to see inside the food truck's kitchen sink? And then finally, Avoid a food truck if most reviews come from influencers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyway. Folks, have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the MJ Morning Show on Q105, and let's be careful out there.
Download the app now.